Hello there, new recruits, and welcome to the Dub Talk Counter Ghouls. Now, before we get into the fact that you've been specially selected to have an experimental procedure done to you, let's go over the details of your enrollment into the DTCG and some side effects that may occur as of surgery. What, you didn't know there was surgery? Anyway, you may experience strong language in situations and that you should be advised. You can't go around scaring other recruits who aren't ready for it yet. Remember that you may also spoil any and all series, but mostly the Tokyo Ghoul anime is a manga, and that everyone should be aware that you spout those spoilers. So viewer discretion is advised. And finally, remember any and everything you say will reflect you and the individual participants and not the DTCG as a whole. Oh, I'm so sorry. I never introduced myself. I'm Regina, and I'm your new mentor and trainee. And
Regina, acknowledge me. You know no matter how far you go, you'll never be able to be rid of me. Even if you stand those sword boys, you'll never be free of Tokyo Ghoul. Megan.
and all, and welcome to Dove Talk. And welcome to... Do you want to try again?
You had one job!
You had one job! And you failed! Do you want to start over? I kind of feel like... I hope just keep that part of the file. Like the thing at the very end. You know what? Fuck it! We're starting the episode now. Let's go! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dove Talk, the show where a group of CCG members get together, polish our quinquets, and talk about how we mutilate ghouls. No, I've got a chainsaw! No, hello, everybody, and welcome to Dub Talk, the show where a group of half-human hybrids get together, drink some coffee, cry over dead bodies, and talk about the latest and greatest in anime dubs. My name is Megan, and if you haven't guessed, it's another goddamn fucking Tokyo Ghoul episode, and like hell I wasn't hosting it. You would have had to pull it from my cold, dead hands.
No one's gonna stop you.
I let her host it. Joining me tonight are my totally... Stop fucking interrupting me, Mom. I will take your box wine. I will take your box wine and bad erotica. No, I'm gonna take my Mountain Dew and grab my box of tissues and go cry in a fucking corner right now. It's a Tokyo Ghoul episode if everyone's traumatized and everyone else is traumatized and I'm sitting here laughing about a man taking a chainsaw to the noggin. Anyway, tonight I have with me the other two OG hosts reuniting for a franchise that kind of brought us all together. Pretty much.
We're not quite making a full circle, but it's like an 80% circle.
At least we won't need to retcon this like this show did its entire second season. Such retcon. Much retcon, such sorrow. Wow. Anyway, with me tonight I have Stephanie and Hardy. What's up?
Hey, I can talk about this show now.
Yay! Oh my god! Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here for a second. So, obviously we're talking about Tokyo Ghoul Re. I was like about to say, were you saying we're talking about Code Geass Re? Oh yeah. Lelouch of the Ghoulbellion. No. So here's the thing. He's already got one red eye. Shut the fuck up. So typically here on the podcast we don't really talk about sequel shows. Tokyo Ghoul Re is a very special exception for 3 reasons that they actually coincide with each other. Reason number 1, when we talked about the show originally, like 3 years ago, is it now? Almost 3 years ago, we only had 1 episode to go off of, and it was of season 2. Which leads us to reason number 2. Since that episode, we've had a season 1 and a full season 2. Which leads me to reason number 3 why we're coming back to the show. Hardy now can contribute more to the fucking series.
Yay, I know who these people are now.
He understands. Because if you don't remember previously, his only experience with Tokyo Ghoul when we recorded was the first episode of Route A. Was the first episode of Route A, and that's it. Hardy's like, who is this gimp? Why is he fighting another gimp on this? Why is this girl crying? Glassy sky above.
What is this? What are all these things?
Who am I? What am I doing here?
What half mask?
Why do I have a sudden craving for coffee?
Like, why is Natsu shooting stuff out of his butt?
Okay, first of all, one, Ayato doesn't have a Bikaku. It's an Ukaku. Get it right. Bikakus come from your butt.
Anyways.
Tokyo Ghoul Re takes place. Oh god, fuck. Was it like 3 years after the original series? 2. Thank you. Taking place 2 years after the original series. This is the synopsis from at least the Viz Media release of the manga, which is actually out right now. The Commission of Counter Ghouls is the only organization in the world fighting the ghoul menace. That's a lie. And it will use every tool at its disposal to protect humanity from the ultimate predator. Its newest weapon in this hidden war is an experimental procedure that implants human agents with Kagune, a ghoul organ of predation, giving them ghoul powers and abilities. But both the new procedure and the newly formed Q Squad or Quig Squad are untested. Will they become heroes or monsters? Hayase Sasaki has been tasked with teaching the Q Squad how to be outstanding investigators, but his assignment is complicated by the troublesome personalities of his students and his own uncertain grasp of his school powers. Can he pull them together as a team, or will the Q's first assignment be their last? And by the way, if you're wondering why Hayase Sasaki looks very familiar, it's the world's worst kept secret that is Kaneki Ken with amnesia.
Pretty much,
a bad
yeah.
dye job.
Yes. The worst kept secret of the franchise.
There's a couple that are also pretty bad.
But this is the absolute
worst.
Anyway.
That being said, we are going to be going over the cast and crew of Tokyo Ghoul Re, covering the entirety of the dub of the first season of it. As of the time of this recording, I do say first season as in October of 2018. It is confirmed that a continuation of Tokyo Ghoul Re will happen. I, by the way, as host, had to put together the docket last night.
Dear God.
There are 10 sections to this episode.
It's a long haul.
It's going to be a very
So for that
long
reason,
episode.
we're skipping predictions.
Yes. Strap your seatbelts on, kids.
Yeah, strap your seatbelts on. I know I personally made predictions. I've been waiting for this for a couple of years. Since the first the Route A ended, to which I'm going to be kind of upfront in this too. Before we start, if you've read Tokyo Ghoul Re or you've at least watched the anime, I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't watched the anime or the dub. There are two characters whose gender identity is not only crucial to their character, we are going by the official translation from both Viz Media's manga, which goes up to Volume 5's release at the point of this recording, as well as the official translation from the Funimation dub for Mutsuki. As for the character Kanae, we are going to be using the pronoun they due to the complex nature of their character's gender identity.
So, in other words, don't be a D-bag.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, we did this in the Apocrypha episode. Follow the Alstofo rule. That's it.
Haha. Yeah, and side note, considering this is, the third fucking season of this entire goddamn franchise, there's going to be a lot of goddamn
there's going to be a lot of spoilers. Like, a lot.
So please
including...
please be careful. Please
Yeah.
be careful. Either that or go watch the 3 seasons and then come back to us.
I'm also going to recommend this. Probably read the manga at this point, because the way that Re sets it up, a lot of Route A gets retconned.
Yeah, it really does.
A lot of Route A gets retconned. So, that being said, we're going to move into the directors and writers of this. There are actually 4 directors. 5 directors on this show. And 2 writers.
Oh, boy.
That being said, a lot of the directors are assistants. 2 of them only did 1 or 2 episodes because the head director of this franchise was out of the country when this started dubbing. And if I'm right, the first 6 episodes were same day simuldub?
I believe so. And then it got switched to a...
Yeah,
it's
then
either
it got
5 or
switched to a
6, and then it was a 1-week delay, and then it got
became a
jumped to a
2-week
2-week
delay.
later on.
Yeah, so they did simuldub the first 6 episodes same day like My Hero. But this is Studio Pierrot, who has about the track record of a snail against a cheetah.
Accurate. So anyway.
It's like putting a snail against Usain Bolt riding a cheetah. Not very fast. That being said, the main director of the Tokyo Ghoul franchise is one Mr. Mike McFarlane. His assistants / people who stepped in for him include Josh Greeley, Monica Rial, Aaron Dismuke, and Felicia Angel. And the 2 writers of this season, credited via ANN. Like I said, it's really hard to navigate the show page for Tokyo Ghoul, by the way. Funimation, please fix it.
Please.
The writers of this season were Aaron Dismuke and Monica Rial. As a director, Mike McFarlane also handled both the first 2 seasons of Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Route A, as well as Barakamon and Attack on Titan. Josh Greeley's assistant directing credits include Seraph at the End and Data Live 2. Monica Rial's directing credits include Claymore, Heroic Age, and Nabare no O. And Aaron Dismuke's directing credits include assisting on N-Ride, as well as assisting on Luck and Logic and directing Sugamomo. Felicia Angel directed series such as Kenka Otome I get that wrong. Keka Bancho Otome Girl Beats Boy, Grimgar Ashes and Illusions, otherwise known as Grimgar Fantasy and Ash if you watched it in the simuldub like a homie G, and Chaos Dragon. As a writer, Aaron Dismuke has worked on series such as Hakata Tonkatsu Ramens, Nanbaka, and Ninja Slayer from Animation, because Ninja Slayer from Animation is what you think of when you watch Tokyo Ghoul. And Monica Rial, as well, and Monica Rial also wrote the first 2 seasons of Tokyo Ghoul, as well as Yona of the Dawn, and because you totally think of this when you think of Tokyo Ghoul, the Love Tyrant.
Nice. Well, there is lots of violence and blood in that show, too, so to be fair.
Oh, Lord.
Lots of disembowelment.
And a crazy yandere that totally gets Andrew hard.
Here's the thing, I still haven't seen Love Tyrant, and I know exactly what you're fucking talking about.
He's got hard eyes, motherfucker.
Anyway,
so Hardy, Steph, me is the order. Hardy, go first.
Okay, yeah. I'll be really quick about it. It was just as good as the first 2 seasons. You know, I gave the first season of Tokyo Ghoul a lot of accolades in our first ever W Awards, I think. If I can remember correctly, I think I gave it Home Video Dub of the Year.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I think you did. I think you gave it the Home Video and then possibly Best Actor. I think I did Best Actor too.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as all the returning cast goes, they just sound just as good as they always have. A few of the new roles I think I have a bit of issue with, but overall it just seems like a pretty respectable return to form. So that's all I really have to say about it. Everything seems like it's just, going as good as it always has.
I'm going to preface this whole thing by saying stating 2 things. One, I am finally following the manga. I have read the entirety of the original manga and am currently following the Viz Media release of it. And 2, for the past week, I have rewatched the entire Tokyo Ghoul anime series to prep for today. Just before we recorded this, I watched episode 12 of Re for the first time.
She's very mad at me for not telling her something.
I'm very mad, and I'm gonna go cry in a corner. So a lot of this is like refreshing my memory, and I'm gonna be able to give a better idea of tracking performances since I have it fresh in my head now. In terms of directing and writing, I actually kind of think, if anything, Re is probably the strongest that the dub has been to me. Direction and writing wise. Second would be the first season, and then a lot of it's very interesting seeing how the direction has progressed, especially with the returning cast, because you're seeing how it was, especially a handful of these characters, and I'm gonna bring this up, how they kind of grow and progress in their own personalities and stories. You also have these new characters coming in, which I'm enjoying a lot. Especially the cues when we get to them later on.
It's gonna take a little while to get to the cues.
It's gonna be a while till we get to the cues, but the dub is it's a return to form, but it's also challenging itself and kind of creating something even better than before. I feel And the show in general also, I think, is the best that Tokyo Ghoul has been so far. And
shit gets wild coming up.
Oh boy. But as of right now, I really like the directing and writing on the show. Very, very strong, and I think as of right now, it's my favorite season to date.
For me, this is something that I've wanted for like a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge fan of this franchise. I'll admit, I know what happens in the manga. I've read every chapter of Ray. Trust me, I'm doing my due diligence to Viz to make up to it. I actually own the first 6 volumes of Tokyo Ghoul in English and a random magazine from Japan that has a very infamous chapter, which I hope I have to see how they're gonna try to get around this.
Ooh boy.
Boy. Like, if you know what happens in chapter 125 of Tokyo Ghoul Re, you know exactly what I mean. You know exactly what I'm talking about. For me, the very beginning of Re is very, very good. It's probably some of my favorite manga that's out there. It's especially the arc with the auction. The auction arc has probably one of my favorite reveals in all of manga of a certain character's return. Because you don't ever actually expect it.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, I think the adaptive writing on this is fantastic. Nothing feels out of place. I actually don't mind that they swear. There are actually times I thought they were gonna say fuck. And they
I thought so too.
Didn't. And I was like, come on, Mike, put the fuck in there.
Just do it.
Do it, bitch. Do it, bitch. But the writing on this was really good. A lot of the casting was very creative. Maybe except for Psycho, because I kind of pegged Psycho as a certain actress the second I knew this actress existed, and they were like, gonna make a re-anime. I knew who Psycho was going to be if Funimation got a hold of it. The dub, I wouldn't say this dub is as strong as the original first season of Tokyo Ghoul to me. There's something very special about the first season dub, and that I will always hold in my heart. And the first season of the show means a ton to me. Like, it's a flawed adaptation as somebody who loves the manga, but it is my favorite anime of all time for a reason. I've watched the first season of Tokyo Ghoul Re before the dub ever came out like 4 times. And they kept a lot of the same magic while bringing in a lot of new actors who could step up to the plate and did get a little bit creative with some of them. I was actually very surprised to see who they had play certain characters, and as somebody who does know what goes beyond this season, I am very excited to see what those actors in particular can bring to their characters, because their arcs aren't as fleshed out yet. Unfortunately, this is a Perot adaptation, so they do take a lot of, like, really, like, weird moments out. Like, I'm kind of sad that they didn't keep the party after the auction being a Christmas party. Because,
I forgot they didn't have the Christmas party.
Because
Juzo comes party.
They have the dinner party, but they never do the Christmas party where Juzo comes over and kicks everybody's ass at Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
That's a thing,
that's a canon thing, that he kicks their ass at Smash Brothers.
I forgot that it was supposed to be a Christmas party and they didn't actually have a Christmas party.
Yeah, it's just like an after mission party, and they kind of go over a lot of things, but
yeah.
The whole directing team did a really good job, and I do want to commend them for doing a same day simuldub for this show in particular. I can only imagine what working with Perot is like for this. Perot does not have the best track record in the world. This isn't like we're working with Studio Bones, who has done this a lot. So I was very impressed that they got as far as they did with it. So a big shout out to Mike and his directing and writing crew. Are we good to move on?
Yes, please.
Alright, this is probably going to be the quickest section of all. So I call this the Returner.
God damn it. Damn it.
Somewhere out there, Andrew just came a little from that pun.
And more tasteless jokes at Andrew's expense.
It's my wheelhouse. That being said, the characters who return to this season include Toka Kirishima, who is essentially Kaneki's love interest / all-around badass, watched her home burn down at the end of last season.
Yup.
And has restarted her life with a cafe called the RE, or Return. Along with her you have Yomu, who is essentially, I guess, kind of the bodyguard of Ri. I don't want to say who Yomu really is to Toka, because I don't want to spoil that. You have Nishiki Nishio, a giant motherfucking asshole who got a power-up.
He softened up by the end of season 2.
He softened up. By the way, he got a massive power-up if you didn't catch it. Is going around as the ghoul known as Orochi. And Nishiki is very much known for being kind of the butt monkey of season 1 and season 2.
He kind of is, unfortunately.
He kind of was the butt monkey. And then we have Uta. Oh.
This motherfucker.
I'm so confused. Hardy, you don't read the manga, so you have no idea how much I hate this character.
Oh no, you told me when we were first recorded how much you hated him.
I fucking hate Uta, and now Steph understands why.
I don't know. I mean, I don't hate Uta, honestly.
Oh, I hated him when I first finished Ghoul as a manga. I was like, you motherfucker! Also, in one part of the original series in the past, there's an entire panel dedicated to him eating a penis.
Yes.
Oh, what?
I didn't believe it at first.
Yeah,
and then
I know.
I went back and looked at it, and I'm
yeah,
like,
he's just like eating a penis as a snack.
Boy, that's a mental image I did not need.
Did I ever
and
mention to you that
nightmare fuel
Suishida...
for the evening, boys and
Did
girls.
I ever mention to you that Suishida literally writes a webcomic called The Penis Man? Anyway, back on track. Uta runs the mask shop Haisai. Basically, there's one part where Hayase gets duped into thinking he tattoos his eyes. To which all the Qs are like, this guy is totally a ghoul, what the fuck?
Like, what the fuck, Hayase?
Fuck, hey. Hayase, you moron! But you also know that, if you also pay attention to the show, you know that Uta is not all that he seems, and he might be playing both sides, as he was the auctioneer during the auction arc.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the returning cast, Toka is played by Brina Palencia, Nishiki is played by Eric Vale, Yomu is played by Phil Parsons, and Aaron Roberts plays Uta. Uta is played by Aaron Roberts. Brina Palencia you'll know as characters such as Juvia Loxar from Fairy Tail, Yue Ayase in the Negima franchise, and Rei Ayanami in the rebuild of Evangelion films. Eric Vale you'll know as Ryusuke in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, Kasserin in Kasserin Sins, and getting very hands-on with Mr. Tomura Shigaraki in My Hero Academia.
Haha!
Nice.
Phil Parsons you'll know as Eternal Good Beefy Boy Klaus von Reinhardt in Blood Blockade Battlefront, Negan Gerd Lewin in Overlord, and Shiro Sanada in Star Blazers 2199 Space Battleship Yamato, the guy who made me almost destroy a television.
It's okay, though, he jumped into the water.
I got so mad at that I almost threw my controller at my TV.
Nice.
And Aaron Roberts plays Four Eyes Rude, Klaus Lunette in Black Clover, Pastis, aka Les Miserables in Aka 13 Territory Inspections Department, and Lilac Spirit Sword Hishigiri Hasebe from Tokugaku Hanamaru.
Sword Mom! Sword Mom!
Everyone loves Sword Mom.
Not to mention also best sky wizard ever, Cody Balfour.
Balfour. Cody Balfour, Cody Balfour, Cody Balfour, save the day. But only if Nick's
back.
But only if Nick kicks. But only if Nick kicks his cop car.
That's how he can achieve flight.
This is like just like the callback episode for all the people who have sat through like the 120 plus episodes of our bullshit.
Oh, it's probably gonna keep going all night long, guys.
Alright, Hardy, you can go first.
I really don't have much to say because most of these characters, with the exception of Uta, don't really say that much in this half of the show. They show up, they do their thing, they have their little moments and whatnot, and then for the rest of the show, you're basically dealing with brand new characters. So they sound fine. Nothing really to comment on, to be perfectly honest. Uta is a little bit more complicated, but it's a
lot of fun for Aaron Roberts to play a fucking slimy weasel.
It is.
Yeah. Some, circus auctioneer type of person. So that's all I gotta say.
I'm kind of in the same boat with Toka, Nishiki, and Yomo. They kind of just there. They haven't done too much, though. To Brina's credit, because Toka is a bit more mature and she's softer a little bit more compared to previous seasons, and Brina does bring that out of Toka very well. Nishiki, Eric Vale's the same stupid asshole as he always is.
Hey, I want a refill. Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Yomo out of the four of them has the least amount of fucking lines ever in this half.
He just shows up with the getaway van for the end of the Rose arc.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, he's never really said all that much in the series to begin with.
He
talks a lot, and he kind of talked more in the beginning of the first season.
Yeah, he talked a lot in the first season. So as of right now, it's kind of hard to judge how Phil Parsons sounds at this stage. Aaron Robert Uta is very interesting because as out of this four that talks the most, of course, you can definitely tell that he's up to something for sure because it wasn't made 100% clear in the first two seasons, but now we have this sudden leap to this direction, and it's very interesting to me how Aaron Roberts plays both those sides because it seems like he's working for the darker side of the ghouls with the whole auction thing, but at the same time it also seems like he's playing to the side of Toka and the Re Cafe, because the Re Cafe is fully aware of what Uta's doing, which is interesting to me.
Or you think that you think that they know what he's doing. No one knows what Uta's doing.
I mean, point taken, but still. So Aaron having played those two different sides is very interesting, and I think his interaction with Heisei when Heisei first visits him after he gets Kaneki's mask was very interesting too. Not only because Heisei's a dum-dum, but the interaction.
How did you become a first-class investigator, Heisei?
He became a senior class investigator. Remember?
How'd you get up the ranks this way, buddy?
How did you do
smart
this?
Boy.
No.
Your dad's gonna be so upset with you.
No, but Aaron definitely, you can tell he's enjoying the role and he's having fun with it. I'm just curious because seeing from what I know about Uta in the manga and seeing how Aaron is going to portray that, especially because once again Ri basically retconned Rude, and seeing that drastic jump, I don't know where it's going to go from there. So I'm curious to find out how Aaron's going to portray Uta from here on out.
Yeah, I'm going to be really quick about Toka, Nishiki, and Yomu. They were all great. They are all performances I genuinely do enjoy from the original series, especially Eric Vale as Nishiki, the Eternal Butt Monkey. And Nishiki kind of comes into his own a little bit more in this. The anime does kind of play up kind of his butt monkeyness a lot, which is actually something I'm going to bring up with another character that I am super happy that Ri did for this character. But yeah, Phil Parsons was great as Yomu in the original series. Toka, I can hear the softness. Obviously, she's gonna probably be a bigger part of the next part of the series. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that Brina can still knock it out of the park, but then again, it's Brina Palencia, and she really doesn't ever knock it out of the park. Aaron Roberts is a lot of fun as Uta, who gets to be creepy and playful and pulling one over on Hayase Sasaki, who is kind of a dumbass.
He's an adorable dumbass,
though. I love him. He is he's husbando tier, so. If you also remember from the Gangsta episode that I have a Kaneki body pillow, so.
This is true.
That being said, I genuinely really enjoyed these performances and these characters. So let's move on to some new characters.
Oh boy!
Or at least
one of them is characters.
Not new. No, 3 of them are new. One of them is not.
One of them is fucking nuts. Well, I I just realized what I did. Oh my god. See, I was referring to Naki.
Nuts, but I think they like to crack them.
I mean, you see, I was referring to Naki with that statement, but then I looked at the list and I'm like, wait. And then I
fucked
got
up.
it.
Fucked up. So these characters are Misa, or Misa of the Three Blades, a tiny girl who is running around with Aogiri. She runs one of the wards. By the way, don't fuck with her. She's also kind of the best. We have Naki, a dumb idiot who is a follower of Yamori, who is, by the way, the guy who tortured Kaneki in season 1, who can't read, can't write, but he's just a fucking adorable dumbass. There is Bad Touch Mr. Torso, a ghoul that the Qs are essentially tracking and in the beginning of the series, who keeps just somehow slipping away from them and has this weird fascination with Mutsuki, one of the Qs. And then there's every guy, please clench and cover, the Nutcracker Ghoul, a ghoul who essentially goes around and helps to sell people in ghoul auctions, but also takes a great pleasure in crushing and eating men's testicles.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, you don't want to date this lady.
And she also, by the way, runs around in, like, bondage stripper gear.
True facts.
I think at one point, too, oh yeah, she also has a detachable Kagune that blows shit up.
Yeah.
And it was cool as fuck, and we all know it.
It's pretty fucking badass.
So,
and then Shirazu gets it, and
then
oh,
Shirazu
fuck!
gets it, and then it just starts.
And then I just reminded myself.
We'll get there. So Misa is played by Brittany Lauda. Naki is returning, playing Naki is Josh Greeley. Playing Torso is one Dave Matrenga, and playing the Nutcracker Ghoul is Emily Neves. Brittany Lauda, you will know as Ichigo, did nothing fucking wrong and is the only good character in Darling in the Franxx. Nene, I need a back brace whenever I look at her. Fujinoki in My First Girlfriend is a Gal, and Yonaga Hinagiri in Alice in Zeroku. Josh Greeley you'll know as small independent character Yuri Katsuki in Yuri on Ice, Fempt in Blood Blockade Battlefront, and Zeno in Yona of the Dawn. Dave Matrengo you will know as Shoto Todoroki in My Hero Academia, Luke in Garo Vanishing Line, and the Wolfman in The Wolf Children. Emily Neves you'll know as Kyoko Sonan in Diamond Dollar, Prince vs. Penguin Empire, Aoi, waifu of the motherfucking year, Tsubaki in Kyoko, not in Kyoko, and Kakario, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits, and Judy Reyes in Steins Gate 0.
Not to mention best gremlin ever, Umaru.
That's not how you say psycho.
That's not how you said psycho in this.
That's not how you say psycho. You get
By
out.
the way, thank you for actually reminding me of this.
Uh-oh.
So, fun fact, by the way, about this, and I'm actually happy you bring up Umaru.
Okay.
If you don't know, Psycho actually has Umaru posters in her room in the manga.
Really?
Because Tokyo Ghoul
Wow.
and Maru-chan ran in the same manga in Japan. Same magazine in Japan.
Interesting.
Well, shit. Okay.
I'm not kidding you. I have that magazine in my room. And when I found out Umaru and Ri were in the same thing, I about lost my garbage.
Now we
Oh,
need
shit.
to see fan art of Psycho drawn
Psycho and Umaru.
In the Umaru hoodie?
in the Maru hoodie. Yes.
Yes.
I
Do
want to
it.
say that Ishida Sensei did it. I know Ishida Sensei drew her in a Pepe the Frog one before Pepe the Frog became like a symbol of other things.
Oh my god.
I'm not kidding you, it's real.
Of course Ishida would do that.
I love Sue Ishida. He's a good man.
Anyway.
He's a very good boy.
Anyway.
Hardy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real quick here. These people are crazy, and they're all
No shit.
Yes, all four of them are absolutely insane, and they're all very, very, very fun to listen to. I think the standout would definitely be Dave Matranga as Torso because, whoo boy, he's
Stabby.
he's a few tacos short of a combination plate, just to say there. And also, Nutcracker scares me for pretty obvious reasons. So
Yeah, you might want to go
Clench.
protect
Just
your
cover the boys.
treasures.
yeah, let me get my chastity belt out just in case. So
I'm gonna send the boys to camp.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun listening to all four of these people just go full on ham, and I can't really say much about it because, other than that, because they didn't really grab my attention individually. But yeah, it was fun listening to in the overall production. So yeah, I'm going to go over and tuck my my jewels safely away.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea before Nutcracker comes for you.
Part of me actually kind of hopes we run into Emily Neves when we're at Funimation, and your immediate reaction is just to put your hands slowly.
Yeah.
Shit. That'd be great.
She plays like 2 fucking ball busters this season between Nutcracker and Aoi.
Oh my god. She's great.
I love Aoi Tsubaki. Please marry me.
Waifu of the year.
She's the fucking best.
Especially dealing with the master bullshit.
Okay, real talk. Master is best horned lead character of the year. Go fuck yourself, 02.
Yeah.
I mean,
There, I said
you're
it.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
What a bold yet controversial statement. Why are you booing me? I'm right.
The only way he
I
could
didn't
be better.
boo you.
The only way he could be better is if he talked like Shrek.
No! Get your fucking shit out of here! Fuck you! Fuck you!
And the best part is that
A pox on your goddamn fucking house! How dare you! How dare you ruin my fantasy!
Welcome to the head of the world, donkey.
A pox on your house? I hope your balls get crushed by Nutcracker and she slurps them down with a straw.
Owie, what are you doing in my swamp?
Stop it! Stop it! No! He doesn't even have a swamp! He has an inn, you asshole!
God damn it.
Pox on your house!
Oh my god.
Fuck you!
And
Fuck
here's
you!
the highlight for the highlight reel.
I hope you get your balls slurped down by a ghoul with a straw. I hope she has a hearty nut milkshake.
Oh god damn. Oh, we're trying to breathe.
I hate
my
you.
turn?
I hate you so much. You know what's worse? He would do it too. You know Chris Waycamp would do it.
He did it.
What? That's the best part. What are you fucking talking about?
Wait, what? He already did it? Oh god, get back on track.
I'm guessing, I think it's my turn, right?
Yes.
There's spit just covering my phone and computer.
Okay. Trying to breathe. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of talk about Misa first, because Misa actually didn't really stand out for me, which is weird. I mean, I enjoyed Brittany Lotta. It's a different character that I've seen Brittany getting to play, which is very, very nice. I appreciate that, because right now, the most familiar I am with Brittany Lotta is Ichigo and Darling in the Franxx, because that's the only other
Who did
like,
nothing
recent
wrong.
thing. Yeah, this is Misa's a different character for Brittany to play, but Misa hasn't really stood out to me as a character all that much compared to a lot of other characters, so I don't really have a lot to say regarding the performance. Nutcracker and Emily Neves, I actually haven't seen Emily go, like, show that she's both a sexual deviant as well as, like, desperate at the same time. She
Please
wants
just
all this-
imagine Umaru yelling, I want to be beautiful.
I know. I want to be pretty. I want to be...
Brother, I want to be pretty. Get me the cola and potato chips.
No, it's very different, and especially since since we're talking about more like roles that I'm used to from this season alone. I'm more used to Emily as Aoi and Bed and Breakfast for Spirits at this point. So obviously, a complete departure. Obviously, I'm enjoying that a lot. Josh Greeley as Naki is also very interesting because Naki as a character has also grown a bit since we first met him in Rude.
He couldn't even write.
What?
He couldn't even write in Rude.
I mean, there's that. But, it's interesting. Naki's very interesting as a character because when I went back to Rude, Naki's just, like, flailing like a child, losing his goddamn garbage all the fucking time because he wants to see Yamari again, but knows he can't. now that we have 2 years gone by and we're here with Naki now, I think that Josh had to mature Naki just a wee bit, because Naki now has to take on a more leadership role, especially with the white suits. So it's definitely a little bit of a growth in the character himself, and Josh gets to portray that. But it doesn't mean that Naki is not crazy. Oh, far from it. He's still the crazy, childish little goober that he's always been. He's just a bit more mature. Which is... I haven't even gotten to Dave Matranga yet. And I hear you whispering, stab, stab, stab. But I may as well go to Dave Matranga. Holy fucking shit. Like, I've heard Dave Matranga in some very crazy roles before, but not to this extent.
Growly, growly, growl, growl.
Exactly. Not to this extent where Torso is just... I think he's just downright psychotic to a degree, and because Torso is very much obsessed, especially what looks like for the female form, which is why because it's stated in the show that the only part of he only goes after female victims, and the only part that he actually keeps is the torso, hence the nickname Torso, or the codename Torso, I should say. So he's very obsessed with the female form, and he's also very obsessed with
something
scars.
I think, if I'm right, they actually they changed for the manga. It wasn't that he was obsessed with torsos, it was that he was obsessed with girls with scars on their torsos.
I was just getting to that he was also obsessed with scars. Hence his big obsession with Mutsuki. Now, and just, wow, like, Dave just goes complete mental. I won't say it's ham. There are parts where it does get hammy, but I feel like he has more psychotic breakdowns than anything. And especially, like, episode 4, when he's facing Kanae, over Mutsuki. Like, some of those screams that he was, like, giving when fighting Kanae was just like, ow! Dave, buddy, I hope your voice, obviously it's been a while since you recorded that, but holy shit, your voice is probably dead by after doing that. It just hurt. It was like Armin levels of screams. Like Josh Greeley Armin levels of screams at points. It was crazy. But yeah, I think out of the 4 of these characters, I would say Dave Matranga's Torso, and then maybe Josh's Naki are the standouts for me, honestly. But I did enjoy all of them.
I actually did check the manga, because I have, like I said, I have volume 1 next to me. It is, he is drawn to women with scars, and he does just leave their limbs and shit around. But when we get to Mutsuki, I will try to remember to talk about why something that they changed regarding that, and that's why, as much as I love the torso performance, it also doesn't make a lot of sense to me in this anime, because they kind of took the reason why he's obsessed with the Mutsuki out.
Yeah, that's the kind of the sad part.
Thanks, yeah,
Perot.
So we get to thanks Perot. So when we get to Mutsuki, we'll talk about it. So I want to talk about a couple things. One, I love Misa. Misa's probably one of my favorite secondary characters in the franchise. To me, I love Brittany Lauda's take on her because she does remind me a little bit of Ichigo, but with far less of a bullshit tolerance. Because she's kind of got a thing for Naki. Or she's at least Naki's babysitter.
I'm about to say, from where I stand, she's the babysitter. She's
kind of Naki's babysitter.
She's the babysitter.
So she's like, you're kind of an idiot. You're kind of an idiot. Stop doing this shit.
Don't use my name.
And it's like, don't fucking use my name, you dumbass. Like, use our code names, you dumb shit. And I love her, like, more grounded, like, I am so done. She's kind of the mom-chan of Algiri.
Kind of. And
Josh as Naki is probably one of my favorite Josh Greeley roles of all time, actually, because he plays Naki as a 5-year-old trapped in a 20-year-old man's body. And I do see the maturity that they've added to him over the years. Remember, Naki's a character, when you first meet him, he can't even read and write. Emily, and I put Fempt in his other roles because this essentially reminds me of what if Fempt was a giant child, more than he already is.
That's pretty accurate, actually.
Emily Neves' Nutcracker was absolutely titillating and absolutely terrifying, as well as absolutely heart-wrenching. Despite not being a character who survives for very long, you really feel for her arc, and she also gets to do some very terrifying PTSD screams for Shirazu. Which was a lot of fun to listen to and bounce off of Shirazu's actor. And, oh, Dave Matrenga, I didn't know you could do this. Especially when he started screaming, stab, stab, stabby, stab, stab. And there is just, like, this hopeless fedora tipper in his voice. Where he's like, Mutsuki, is that you? And you're just like, oh, no, I need a shower.
It's true.
He has this, like, weird, I hate to generalize people. He sounds like the guy at the con who goes, where's my free hug?
Ooh.
He's got that kind of vibe to him. Where, like, you know he's been in the game room and he hasn't taken a shower for 3 days.
As bad as that description
and, like, you can just like, despite Torso being a animated character, you just feel something gross about him. And you're just like, I don't want any fucking part of you. No. And he's also kind of got this, like, bumbling sincerity to him. Like, God, he is such an awful person, but God, he so believes in his cause to get Mutsuki's affections.
Toro, is that you?
Toro, is that you? And you're just like, Toro, no.
She's peeking around the corner like, oh my God. And then Mutsuki's just like, fuck.
Sealing Torso watches you masturbate. That being said, I think we're all good to move on to the second batch of Aogiri members. These are all characters who are actually, of all things, returning from the first series.
Yup.
Including one of my favorite reveals of all time. Ayato Kirishima, Toka's younger brother, member of the Aogiri tree, has kind of moved up the ranks and gotten himself a girlfriend. Of all things. Or at least it's implied. He's kind of calmed down and become a better leader, and he's also a bodyguard. Working with him, though, is a character I don't think a lot of people expected to be working with him. Hinami Fueguchi, the little girl who watched her mom get killed by Kureomato, and eventually killed him, has now joined Aogiri, and works as kind of an informant. However, she does defend Hayase from an attack, and eventually gets captured by the CCG under Hayase's care, and put into Cochlea. We have the leader of Aogiri Tree, the big bad motherfucking one-eyed owl herself, Edo, the daughter of a human and the ghoul Yoshimura, or Kuzin, who ran Anteku from the first 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. And raise your hands if you called this motherfucker coming back ever.
Like a pineapple. Like a juicy
pineapple. Yes. Sato Takizawa, a former CCG agent who was partnered with Hoji and worked with Amon and Akiramato, who went missing in the final battle against the Owl and Anteku raid, has come back himself as a one-eyed ghoul who's just a little bit kooky.
Just a tiny bit.
A tiny bit.
Just a little.
Just a teeny bit. Playing Ayato Kirishima is Todd Habercorn. Playing Hinami Fueguchi is Laura Woodhull. Playing Edo, or Sen Takatsu, the author. The fucking
Tatsuki.
Author, guys.
Evil J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
Evil J.K. Rowling is Lindsay Seidel, and reprising. By the way, these are all reprising their roles. And reprising his role as Sato Takizawa is one Mr. Micah Solasad. Todd Habercorn, you will know as his Lord and Highness Todd fucking Habercorn, Fear of Perchinezo and Bakano, Taro Urashima and Okami-san and her 7 companions, and Death the Kid and Soul Leader. Laura Woodhull, you will know as Nene Higashiyama in 18 If, Nina in Overlord, and Tia in World End. I'm not saying the entire name of the show, I do not have the time. Lindsay Seidel you will know as Nagisa Shiota in the Assassination Classroom franchise, Kino in Kino's Journey the Beautiful World, and Ruko Kominato in Selector and Spread Infected Cross. Micah Solasad you will know as characters such as Yuno in Black Clover, Akito Hyuga in Code Geass, Akito the Exiled, and Guy Tsutsugami from Guilty Crown, the darling of the Franks of its generation.
Let's see here. Not much to say about Ayato because he doesn't really speak very much in this particular season. It didn't really make much of an impression on me, but he really didn't make much of an impression on me in the first 2 seasons either, to be honest. Hinami sounds like she's definitely matured a lot, and I can definitely tell an improvement so far on Laura Woodhull's acting, because she does sound much more serious and in control, to where you can definitely tell that there's definite growth to her character, which I can appreciate. I have a confession to make. I never actually finished Route A all the way through, and so I did not get to Eto's big reveal. But
okay, sorry about that.
But it's fine. No, I already knew about it. But hearing her performance in specifically the last episode of this series, of this season, that was some creepy stuff. That's to be commendable. That was some genuinely creepy, scary stuff.
Oh, the clock room with Kanae shit too.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. But boy, howdy. I watched. I did not think that this was Micah Solasad was possible of being this crazy, and I've seen Sir Vamp.
I love Tsubaki.
Yeah.
Tsubaki is great.
I love Tsubaki.
But yeah, no, that's, if I had to pick one standout performance from the show, just pure ham and pure energy and pure just crazed acting, it would probably be Micah as Takizawa. And this is a show full of crazy people going ham, so that's really saying something. You know,
I've got to ask, did you expect of all the people to show back up this fucking guy?
Not really. He didn't. He just... no, not really, to be perfectly honest. But I will have to say, you know what goes great with ham? Is pineapple.
Here's the greatest thing. Didn't Micah make a friggin' pineapple joke at the start of the season?
I want to say yes, and I also, if I'm correct, I believe his, artist handle is Painapple or something.
I think so. But yeah. I'll start with Ayato and Hinami because they didn't exactly stand out to me, though I did get the progression of the characters, because Ayato in the first 2 seasons is an angsty little shitlord. Like an angsty little emo shitlord. Probably even more so than Kaneki half the fucking time. But for Todd in this season, I got his growth as a character, his maturity. And he's actually opening up a bit more and starting to care about people because he does care about Hinami in particular. And it's very, very precious. I'm not gonna lie.
I ship it. FedEx.
FedEx. Hinami and Laura Woodhull, despite Hinami not standing out so much compared to the past 2 seasons for her, also you can see the progression of Hinami as a character and Laura's performance, because Hinami has seen and been through some shit in her life. And in a short span of
poor fucking girl.
Yeah, a short span of probably 3 years if you had to lump all 3 series together in a sense. So to see Laura portray Hinami as more, she's trying to be an adult, she's trying to grow up, but she's still holding on to whatever innocence and childhood that she has left, especially when she goes to save Heisei. Because you can tell that Heisei is the one link that she does not want to see broken. And to see Laura portray that is very, very wonderful. Eto and Takizawa are crazy motherfuckers. So Lindsay Seidel as Eto. I think around the time when we first talked about the show in Route A, Eto was confirmed, I think, at the time, right? Yeah, she appears in the first episode. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, you see the
It was her and Tatsura.
Version of her in the the version of her in the bandages. Yeah.
Yes. So at that time, I didn't know much about Lindsay Seidel, but also at the time, the podcast was barely a thing. So obviously, we've learned some shit since then. But seeing Eto, because seeing the Sentatsuki version and then the one-eyed owl Eto version is just, oh boy. The Sentatsuki, you see the Sentatsuki side more in Route A with her interactions with Hinami, actually.
By the way, that is completely how Hinami ends up in Aogiri.
I'm not surprised by that, because I came to realization while rewatching Ri, because I've watched Route A and Ri basically back to back. Hinami probably, like, Eto gave the book to Heisei that Hinami got signed for Kaneki. I came to that realization because it was the same book. So, God, now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, Lindsay Seidel, I really enjoyed her a lot, and especially in the last couple of episodes where she just go full out crazy, like crazy chain, choo choo, get on board, everybody, let's go to Magic Happy Fun Times. It's. You can tell that she's fine with just watching the world burn. And then she's also very, very obsessed with Kaneki. Like, she's like, she proclaims that she loves him as she's just falling off of a building. Like, this girl's gone nuts. But to be fair, if anyone's going to fight Lindsay in the crazy cuckoo contest, it's Micah Salazat. Cause holy sweet baby Jesus, he's just gone away.
Jam.
Because in the first couple seasons, Takizawa is kind of he's trying very hard.
Brown noser,
very, very much a brown noser, trying very hard to stand out among his peers, but he's also very much overshadowed by Akira Mato. I think by the point we get to Takizawa in this season, Takizawa, obviously he would have had to have gone through some shit to end up in this state, but we don't know what that is right now, or at least I don't.
You do not want to know.
Well, I'm probably gonna end up finding out, so it's unavoidable at this point. But you can also tell that Takizawa just does not give a fuck anymore. Like, he's just done. It's like a psychotic breakdown, except just more of a sadistic, crazy motherfucker. And it's so much fun. So much fun. I didn't even think that Micah was capable of this too, but I got so excited when I heard and saw what happened to Takizawa here. And I'm like, well, shit, let's go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I want to see crazy Micah. And then it just went off the rails, and he just kept flying through the air. He has not gone over the cliff and started a downward spiral. We're good. Although the downward spiral would also equate to psychotic breakdown, probably in this situation. Anyway, yeah, all 4 of these characters, I enjoy them a lot. But though, obviously between the 4, Eto and Takizawa are the standouts, with Takizawa being a major standout. And I honestly hope we get to see a bit more of Ayato and Hinami in the second half. Because they didn't exactly stand out too much right now, but I am enjoying how their characters are progressing this season.
So, I'm going to be really quick about Ayato. Ayato sounds about the same as he did in the first 2 seasons. He sounds like an angry little edgelord. But it's nice to hear him be an angry little edgelord who cares about someone. Because he cares about Hinami. And Laura Woodhull's Hinami performance has evolved from being a scared little girl to a confident and a little bit, like, I don't want to say, like, lost love towards Hayase, but, like, she deeply cares about him, and when they're in the Kokui, she goes, you are you and I am me. And it's very sweet. But you can actually tell there's a difference in the way that she portrays the Hinami that's in this show, in this series, and the Hinami as a little girl, because there's a flashback to her in Ayato when she first kind of joins Aogiri. And you hear the little Hinami voice, and then she proceeds to say that he acts like his sister, and he gets a little flustered. Lindsay Seidel had her crazy-os. She ate her she ate her crazy-os, because Edo was great. A lot of the Edo that you see in Route A and the original series is either the little bandaged up form that speaks like a child and has kind of a weird filter on it, or her playing a nice human woman who is an author and goes out to meetings and meets fans and tricks adorable little Hinamis into eventually joining an evil organization of murderers.
But then
she gives her a business card, and then she goes absolutely batshit as the owl and hangs out of a giant corpse mouth and is like, damn, Sasuke, I'm gonna sex you up.
She really wanted to too.
Damn, Kaneki, I'm gonna sex you up. Except for she's not like that because she's like probably twice his age, and that's a little weird.
Not to her, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, because Edo's buck wild and stuff. And then, oh boy, I have been waiting for this for like 4 years, guys. I have known about the Takizawa thing for a while. If I'm right, he's actually the cover of Volume 3 in Japan, which is not sitting next to me, unlike the other 3.
I believe he is the cover of Volume 3, yeah.
So I have known about this for like a couple years, and I've just been like, man, I cannot wait for Mika Sola-san to fucking rip a dude's head off and be like, it's like a freshly picked pineapple. And when he's fighting, just one of my other favorite moments is when I think they're in the bathroom at one point.
Yeah!
And these girls are like, wait, Mr. Takizawa, you gave a lecture to my class. You two didn't stop fucking talking!
It's like, you should have paid attention!
Shut up! You do not know what they you do not want to know what they fucking did to him.
Well, like, I mean, obviously we're gonna find out, so unfortunately there's no escaping.
I mean, wonder how your parents taste. Oh my god, what? Oh yeah, they fed him his family. And that's the least awful thing they did.
I fucking quit.
Yeah, no, they like fed it, like he talks about like, I don't remember where it is in the manga. For all I know, it was actually during his flashbacks while fighting Kaneki. He talks about his mom tasting delicious.
Fucking quit. I quit this franchise.
I love this franchise
so much. I quit this fucking world. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, no, and that, like I said, that's the least awful thing they did to him.
Oh my god. This poor child. I want to hug him now.
Oh, come on, Steph. This is a show where you found out a ghoul was masquerading as a priest so he could eat little boys.
I mean...
You knew what you were getting yourself into.
But he didn't
Don't you
fed
fucking
his
cry
fucking
to me now.
parents.
You're already...
I'm in too deep. I'm in too deep, guys.
You're welcome to my hole. It puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the ghouls again. But no, man, damn, Micah fucking, like, knocked it out of the park. Like, I've never heard, like, Akito from Akito the Exiled got a little crazy, but not like Takizawa bonkers.
Yeah, Takizawa takes it to another level.
Yeah, Takizawa has no chill as a half-ghoul. Like, even when they're having, like, the Aogiri cleanup meeting after the auction, he's just, like, sitting there fucking sassing Ayato. Like, it's like, da-da-da-da-da, and you're just like, holy shit, dude, calm down, edgelord.
I was just thinking that ghouls are kind of kooky, and kooky sounds like cookie, and cookies are delicious.
Delicious. Takizawa is like an early 2000s Hot Topic meme. It's like, have you seen those tweets going around? Like, if you remember this image, you qualify for a veterans discount. And it's like, I made you a cookies, but I eated it. Like, Ghoul Takizawa looks like he'd be one of those weirdos who keeps asking for Invader Zim to come back.
I mean,
no offense to those people.
He's not wrong. Invader Zim should come back because Invader Zim is awesome.
True.
Just
anyway,
out there.
are we good? I loved all these performances, especially Takizawa. I've been waiting for this for like a couple of years at this point. So
clearly it exceeded your expectations.
Yes, I was very happy with because Takizawa is kind of a whiny little butt munch in Route A. And my favorite series, one of my favorite all-time scenes in Route A is where he gets absolutely plastered. And he tells his boss to fuck off.
And then his boss is just like,
this is like, Takizawa, you need to come back to the office. And he's like, yes, sir. And he's such a little brown noser, too.
He is.
But yeah. Like, I love the evolution that Micah has as an actor for this character, too, so... are we all good to move on, though?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Ooh, another fun character.
Right.
Yay.
So we're gonna have one returning character and 3 new characters. This one returning character is probably one of the fan favorites.
I do like this character, actually.
Anyway, fan favorite character coming back is Ziyoou-vachi. Juzo's a little unhinged.
He's a person.
And he was partnered with a very wonderful man named Shinohara, who unfortunately went into a coma at the very end of the first series, and has since been trying to become a better man, and now has his own squad that he leads, with his new second in command, whose name I will get the full name of. I only wrote down his first name, which is Hanabe Araba. A man who basically looks like the anti-Uta and has like all white eyes. Who's very much Juzo's second in command. And then there are the 2 kind of people who run the Rose operation. I would talk about Ue in this situation, but honestly he didn't leave as much of an impact on me as I wanted to. But we are going to talk about Heiru Ihei, who is pink and psycho.
True facts.
And Shiki Kijima, a man who looks like some Frankenstein lizard potato.
Who has a chainsaw.
Has a peg leg and a fucking Queen K chainsaw.
The best Queen K ever.
There is one other character I did actually want to talk about besides Kore Urie, and that is one Mr. Furata, who is essentially Shiki Kijima's underling. Furata, if you have any sense of foreshadowing, has a character design that is way too nice to be killed and is way too slimy during the Rose arc. However, he is played by somebody in Route A. We do not know if that is the same person playing him in Re or RE, or if the actor was changed. And as of the time of this recording, we are unable to confirm his voice. Mm-hmm. That being said, playing Juzo-suzuya returning is Maxie Whitehead. Playing Hanabe is Brad Kurtz. Playing Heiru is Jill Harris. And playing Kijima is Randy Perlman. Maxie Whitehead you will know as characters such as Chesla Mare in Baccano, Alphonse Elric in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and Kazuma Ikizawa in Summer Wars. Note, despite Juzo's appearance and voice, Juzo is male.
Mm-hmm.
Juzo is a boy.
However, he did have his nuts crackered.
Yeah.
But not by Nutcracker.
Not by Nutcracker. Oh no. Oh no.
No. Oh. Poor Juzo.
Oh. Poor Juzo. Hanabe is played by Brad Kurtz. Brad Kurtz, this is his first named role.
Wow, yay.
Explains how come I never heard of this person before.
But he has done various voice roles in Black Clover, Kato, The Right Answer, and Trickster. Okay. Jill Harris you'll know as Mayaka Ibara in Hyoka, Yumeme in Planetarian, and Aletta in Restaurant to Another World. And Randy Perlman you will know as Mikio in Shangri-La, everyone's favorite Drunkle Sword, Jirotachi in Tokonrambu Hanamaru, and Imperio Ivankov in One Piece. By the way, we're not talking about him, but apparently Kori Ure, who is essentially Harue's supervisor, supervisor and gatekeeper of this crazy pink-haired asshole child is actually played by Chris Burnett.
I told you this the other day and you didn't believe me.
I didn't. This is like the fucking. Shut the fuck up.
Side note, Ue also was in Rude.
Yes, Ue is. We're not talking. Like, I guess we could. Fuck it, we're talking about him too. Chris Burnett plays Toru and Shiki. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. And
He's
yet we get Sarah for the end.
And he's also Romeo from Romeo X Juliet. There you go, got it.
You raise me up. We have to teach this to Gigi every episode he's on with Chris Burnett. Go ahead, Hardy.
Yeah, once again, I'll be real quick. Juzo is a fan favorite of mine, and Maxie Whitehead does a really, really good job playing him. He sort of got to... You could tell that he's sort of a little bit more sane, which is not saying so much, because in the first series, he was just a little... I don't even...
Cuckoo?
Yeah, little cuckoo, yeah.
He had his cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, now you could tell he's matured a little bit.
I would actually say a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And seeing his sort of reaction with Big Mom and their history there.
I'm sorry, there's just a part where Big Mom has
Urie,
like just hanging out of her mouth. And I made a tweet where it's like,
best.
crikey, there's a big goo over there. I'm gonna stick my head in it.
But anyways, yeah, Maxie Whitehead did a really good job as Juzo, like before. Hanabe, I honestly do not know who you're talking about.
He is the really big tall guy that with the white eyes.
You really only saw him during the auction arc, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't make a comment. I'm blanking out completely. I do not remember this character whatsoever. So, apology.
Good thing we're also talking about Corey Ure now, too.
Yeah.
Just
cut
keep
boy.
talking. I'll help you out in a second, okay?
Yeah. No, Hairu was... It's always fun to get to hear Jill Harris play someone a bit unhinged. Most of the characters she plays are pretty either straight-laced or very sweet or very, sassy. Here...
She was very happy to get to play this character, by the way.
Yeah. Here you could tell that she's got something... she's got a little bit something wrong with her. I'm looking at this character. I still don't remember. I must have been, like, half asleep during this arc.
You must have been half asleep, because I'm just...
Because I don't remember anything.
For those at home, I pulled up a picture of Hanabe, just so Hardy can see what he looks like, and clearly it's not ringing any bells.
No.
Yeah, he's like, he gets a lot more to do in the manga, that's why. There's more
for him to do. This is also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want them, by the way, to adapt the Juzo one-shot that's from the manga, because that's where he shows up a lot,
Yeah.
too.
Well, I could say, in Jill Harris being able to play a crazy character, that's a good way to get ahead in her career.
Good job, man! You cut the wrong half!
Anyways, and yeah, Randy Perlman scares me as Shiki, so that is just... that is a character that is like... We made a joke during Golden Kamui about Lieutenant Tsurumi being a walking trigger warning. I think this character is pretty much the Tokyo Ghoul equivalent. And
He's this season's motto.
Right. But yeah, Randy Perlman played him very, very well, and I hope that his performance didn't give him a splitting headache. So.
You ever watched a show where a man's own chainsaw cut his own head in half?
He made words that I did not know were possible, so.
I didn't know he could make...
That was great.
It sounded like his head went into a blender.
Oh, God.
Oh, let's make some mashed potatoes.
Are you good?
I'm sorry, Shiki Kichima looks like a walking potato.
Are you good, Hardy?
I'm good.
Alright. I'm going to start with Hanabe because Hanabe did not stand out that much, honestly. And also, I'm not that familiar with Brad's work, obviously, because he's still pretty new. So I can't exactly say much as of right now. I just want to see more of Hanabe so I can really get a sense of not only the character, but Brad's range as an actor. That's all I'll say about him. Jill Harris. She's a perky, innocent little girl. who
murders.
Yeah.
Who murders. She's good at her job and everything, and she's determined to do her job. But when she got stabbed, stabbed by Matsumai, that's when she kind of lost.
She wasn't even stabbed by Matsumai. It was Mario who stabs her.
You're right. I am wrong.
She takes out a beam. She whips out a fucking beam gun,
and she goes full batshit.
What? Who's got a Kagane that's a laser blaster? That's what I want to know.
I don't know because somebody's. Well, okay.
Because fuck you. That's why.
Full disclosure, Arima's is a fucking railgun. And I know who his Kagane his Quinka is made out of.
Oh, great.
I won't tell Lilac because I want her to know that. I want her to learn that one herself. I will tell you Hardy in a text.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, this character that Jill's playing, I want to call her by her last name, but I can't fucking remember right now. Ihei, thank you. Ihei, she's sweet and adorable, which is, like, typical of, like, half of the roles that Jill usually plays until Ihei just loses her garbage, after getting stabbed. But, yeah, that's a lot of fun for the short amount of time she was in the show. Mm-hmm. Same with Ui, Chris Burnett, if we are talking about him for, like, 5 seconds. He definitely commands the scenes that he is in, but is not as much of a standout compared to some of the other characters. But I do enjoy him a lot, and it's always nice, because we rarely get to talk about Chris Burnett, honestly. So it's always nice to talk about Chris Burnett.
I still swear to God we fucking saw him in the hallway at Funimation last year.
Oh yeah, you swear that you saw him. Kijima. Oh boy. So Randy Perlman is such a slimy character, and he has no regard for neither ghouls nor CCG, like, policy bullshit. He does not give a fuck. Like, he will torture a ghoul that they captured, put it on the internet for the world to see, and does not care.
Porn.
Does not care. And Randy Perlman, if the character design wasn't a dead giveaway, you would kind of think that Kijima is unassuming. If the character design wasn't a dead giveaway, it'd be similar on the, like, a similar lines to Furita, if the character design didn't give it away as bad. And then Juzo's very interesting because, and Hardy already kind of brought this up a little bit. So, Maxie, in the first couple of seasons, Juzo was just full-on child mode.
Bonkers.
Bonkers. But he also was like a child because of all the torment that that Big Madam put him through. He still has himself repressed as this child. So, and obviously what happened to Shinohara at the end of the first series kind of got his attention, and he's growing up, and you see that. Like, out of all of the characters in the returning characters in the show, the one I feel like that has grown the most, aside from Heisei, but Heisei is a different animal entirely, is Juzo. Juzo has matured so much, but he still has his moments where he's still very childlike. The first time you get to see Juzo coming back in, it's this big meeting, and he goes to Heisei, he's like, Heisei! Heisei lifts up his arms as if he's gonna give him a hug. Juzo's picking through his pockets for little snacks that Heisei snuck in for him.
Snack.
It's adorable. So, with the amount that Juzo has matured, you still have that little moments of childlike quality, and a need to hold on to, like, that childlike innocence, and Maxie, I think, portrays that very well. So, out of the four of these, Maxie definitely is the standout with the progression of Juzo's character. But Randy Perlman is also a lot of fun.
So, I'll do Hanabe and Kori and really quick. Well, Hanabe really quick. I like Brad Kurtz's bass performance. It is a shame that this character doesn't get to talk a lot more, because this is actually a really interesting voice for a guy who's, this is his first named role. So welcome to the wonderful, crazy world of named characters, dude. Koriure. God, I want to smack this fucking bowl cut of a character in the face. He's such a little pissant. He's like the dad. He's like Harui's dad. And he's so fucking done with her shit. Man, I wish that Harui was as little bit of as crazy as she was in the manga.
Oh yeah, she's nuttier.
She's fucking nuts in the manga.
She is.
And they kind of toned her down. But man, I love Jill Harris playing her like she is like the world's most peppy high school girl. And she's like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for years! And you're just like, oh no, you're terrifying.
Isn't she also mildly obsessed with Arima?
Yeah, because they imply that she knew him as a child, but when you kind of get into a lot of the stuff that's going on with the Washus in Arima, it gets a little weird. It's gonna start coming up soon in the manga for you, so I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, don't say too much.
And remember, she's the same age as the Qs.
Right.
As the Quins. And I'm gonna do their ages when we get to them. You're not gonna believe which one of them is the oldest. So I really liked how she sounded, especially with her being really, really peppy against Psycho and her disposition. And then there's Shiki Kijima, who, by the way, I actually got this right in my predictions. I was like, oh, Randy Perlman has... Here's my thing. I was like, okay, I need an older guy who's appeared in the show that can do crazy, creepy voice and who hasn't been in there. Oh, Randy... Because my other prediction for Kijima was Brian Mathis.
Oh, okay. I can see it.
By the way, I also had done predictions for Torso, and you might want to smack me because I said one of them should have been Matt Shipman.
I mean, you probably got it from me because I said Matt Shipman. Remember, you were sitting...
Oh yeah, that's right.
We were sitting next to me.
By the way, so we did Lilac's re-predictions at 6 in the morning waiting to get autograph tickets at AB.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
But man, no, Shiki Kijima is like Mr. Makes like God, when he's got the one servant tied, the girl's Eliza.
Oh God.
Tied up. You have such loose lips. And I'm just like, oh God, please no.
It's like, oh, bad touch, bad touch.
Bad touch. But for me, good lord, the dying noises of Mr. One Randy Perlman. Oh wait, that's the Armin scream.
That's the Armin scream.
It's
like you get flashback. You get flashbacks to the Wicked Witch of the Weather. Whoa! What a world! What a world!
Yes, actually, you do.
Yes, actually, yeah. And, except for instead of melting, he gets his own chainsaw to his head.
He dies from a splitting headache. So.
Just like when the chainsaw gets put up in the air, you're just like, that thing's gotta come the fuck down somehow.
Yep. And then surprise!
Eyes. Which, by the way, we're gonna talk about that group of characters. Just, you know what? I loved all of these performances too. They're really great. Let's just use this to transition into the Rose group.
The Rose arc. Oh God.
The Rose group. With one returning character and 3 new friends. We have one Mr. Tsukiyama Shu, everyone's favorite comic relief character from the first season. Fuck you, Perot.
Napkin huffing son of a bitch.
Huffing bitch. If you read the manga like me, that is my one big critique of the original manga, is that Shu Tsukiyama is actually a really complex character.
He honestly is.
He is a very fascinating character that gets turned into a joke. You have Kanae. They are a servant of Shu Tsukiyama known as Rose. They are German and fabulous. And do something very, very bad for the sake of wanting to be loved by Tsukiyama. There is Chie Hattori, who is probably in her 20s, guys.
Isn't it confirmed that she is?
Yeah, no, she is the same age as Tsukiyama, by the way.
Yeah, they went to school together.
Yep, they went to high school together. So everybody who was like, wait a minute, why is this midget hanging out with Tsukiyama? Or why is this child hanging out with Tsukiyama? Oh no, they went to high school together.
Oh.
Surprise!
And then we have Matsumai, who is essentially the head servant bodyguard of Tsukiyama. Matsume is a fucking badass, by the way.
Yes.
Matsume is a fucking badass. So, playing Shu Tsukiyama, returning from this first series, is J. Michael Tatum. Playing Kanae von Roswald is Jeannie Torado, who I also predicted correctly.
Me too.
Playing Chie is Madeline Morris, and playing Matsumai is Julie Shields. J. Michael Tatum you'll know as characters such as Toma in Aquarion, Tenten in Oedo Rocket, and Seishiro Kirishiki, everyone's favorite man who walks Dobermans in Shiki. Jeannie Torado you will know as characters such as Kokoro in Darling in the Franxx, Akira Yamamoto in Star Blazers Space Battleship Yamato 2199, and I am so sorry for the butchering I'm about to do, Rolska Schwageren in Dia Sarai.
Wow, okay. I'm not even gonna try that one.
I'm not even gonna try. Madeline Morris you will know as characters such as Akari Mamiya from Aria the Scarlet Ammo AA, Frederica Greenhill in Legend of the Galactic Heroes Dainu Thace, and Sophie in Garo Vanishing Line, who might as well just be Chie's best friend.
Basically.
And Julie Shields you'll know as characters such as Zena in Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody, Ren Mikihara in Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory, and Rito Tsuda in Urehara.
I think out of this entire group, I think Julie is still relatively new.
Yeah, she did not have a lot of name roles.
Well, one thing I would like to note is that as the one person returning from the previous seasons, Tatum still sounds a bit deranged in his earlier episodes of this season. Like when he's like starving himself. No, he's binge eating and he's like sick and going crazy. That's the old Tsukiyama that we're familiar with. As he sort of matures over the rest of the season, you can definitely tell it's nice to see a different side of him. Like the flamboyancy is still there, but it's sort of gone. Like you can tell his spirit's kind of been broken, and it's really interesting. It's a really interesting take on the character, and I think, of course, that Tatum is able to play both the melancholic version of Tsukiyama just alongside the psychopathic and flamboyant versions as well. It's a really good take on the character. I can appreciate how it has grown in this new season. Kanae is basically one for one Jeannie Tarado's performance in DAC Ray, because I was one of the few people who actually watched that show. And
how bad do you feel for watching it?
Well, I feel obligated to watch the rest of the 6 episodes just to finish the darn thing. Here's the thing. It's a very heavy German accent. Mm-hmm. And because you don't really listen, it doesn't really come up a lot in anime specifically, characters with heavy accents. So I'm not sure if it's accurate or not. And that plays a lot. It plays into my opinion of the role as such. The passion was definitely there. The energy was definitely there. Like, this character goes through an emotional gamut of just feeling unloved, feeling worthless, and then just wanting just one person to call them by their name. And the emotion is definitely there. The feeling is definitely there. I do not know if the accent is authentic or not. Okay. And it's the same issue that I had in DAC Ray, is that all the characters in that have very heavy German accents. I cannot tell if they are authentic enough to pass. And
the only person I think in DAC Ray who probably gets a pass is Alex Moore, who speaks German fluently. Right. And so, who was actually my other pick for Kanae.
Yeah. And so that's one of I wouldn't say it's a criticism. That's one of the things that I have to really bring out in judgment of this performance, because I don't really know if that is an authentic or accurate German accent. I'm not sure. If it is, then great for her. But yeah, I think that the energy and the passion was definitely there, and Jeannie brings it really well. Chie needed to be in the show a little bit more for me to make an accurate an accurate criticism. But I'm familiar with Madeline Morris enough to where it's basically Sophie from A Vanishing Line without all the depressing, I'm looking for my brother sort of thing.
Speaking of looking for my brother, poor Matt Shipman in that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anyone seen my Matt and his cat?
Yeah. As for Matsumai, she didn't really make a big impression until later. She's pretty stoic and soft-spoken in general. So, they were all very good performances all around is really what I have to say.
And speaking on that, I may as well start with Matsumai. I'm in a similar vein with you, Hardy. Julie didn't stand out in the early parts of the episodes, particularly the auction, where we do actually get to first see her. But in the latter half of the show, where she does get a little bit of a larger role in the Rosewald incident, I really enjoy her a lot. Definitely very, very different, not what I expected. And of course, similar to Brad as Hanabe, I actually had never heard of Julie Shields before, but this has definitely put her on my radar in terms of performances, and I want to see her in more things. I have the similar thoughts for Madeline Morris as Chie as well. It is basically Sophie again, which I'm totally okay with, because I did enjoy her as Sophie, and I really do like her here as well, because Chie is really spunky, but Chie is also willing to endure the risks when it comes to ghouls, because Chie's profession is she buys and sells information. She's essentially an information broker.
Because she's human, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, she's completely
human.
She's actually one of the very few human characters who isn't a total asshole.
Yep.
She's actually one of the few human characters that isn't a part of the CCG at all, or ever will be.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, because, yeah, she's basically an information broker, because you meet her in the beginning. She's giving information to Shizuru and Urie about Torso. So, her character is very interesting as kind of...
In exchange, by the way, for a pair of Hyas's boxers.
Correct. So, Madeline is kind of... Given the position that she's in, she's kind of the outsider looking in and observing everything. So, it's very interesting to see Chie play more of an outsider perspective on the situation, while still being spunky and still enduring the risks that she has to deal with this position she's put herself in. Because obviously there are risks when it comes to dealing information about ghouls or to ghouls, as her chase with the CCG has taught her anything, or taught us anything.
Oh yeah, they finally bring that up, that aiding and abetting ghouls is actually a fucking crime.
Well, they didn't really bring it up in the anime. They wanted to question her, but she just ran off. But Kane is also very interesting as well. I'm not gonna lie, because even despite me getting my prediction right with Jeannie Torado on this one, at first it seemed off to me, but only because I had the issue of, wait, isn't Kanae a boy? Why is Jeannie still sounding feminine and like a girl? But then I read the manga and watched the show, and I'm like, that's why. Okay. So it all kind of makes sense, as I got to read the story and watch the show. So going back to it this time, now that I know, and rewatching the first 11 episodes and then finishing it finally today, I understand Kanae as a character, which makes Jeannie's performance, I think, all the more better for me, because she... Where is it? Oh, I have a funny note I wrote down. I'll read it in a second, though. Where is it? She, Kanae is similar to, who the fuck did I say? Similar to Emily Neves as the Nutcracker, Kanae also has a sense of desperation to her, or them. And Jeannie portrays that very well, but not only that, but Kanae is very, very possessive. They are very possessive over Tsukiyama, and Genie just portrays that very well. Unlike Hardy and probably 80 to 90% of anime fans, I did not watch DSRA. I've never heard Genie speak German before. I have heard her speak French in Code Geass.
And oh yeah, that's right, she does do the French accent in Nikita the Exile too, that's right.
Yep. So Genie Toronto, master of accents. Let's go. So I thought it was really awesome that she was able to pull that off. The funny note I wrote down, because I have to say this, so when I was rewatching this, and this was there's a scene during the auction raid where Kanae is chasing down Mutsuki, and they catch up to him, and my note basically is as follows: Kanae is secretly tuxedo mask, rose throwing and shit. Cause Kanae,
my work here is done. You didn't do anything.
Exactly. Cause when Kanae caught up with Mitsuki at one point, they just throw Rose and just like hits the floor, similar fucking fashion as when you see Tuxedo Mask all memes. The time. I'm like, wait a second. It was great.
Harvesting. What was it? Serving shoe by daylight.
Oh my god.
No, was it? Harvesting people by moonlight.
We don't have time for this.
Serving shoe by daylight.
We don't have time for this. Stop.
Never running from the real fight. It is Kanae Rosenwald von Rosewald.
Anyway.
Time to get sued.
Yes, you are. As for Tatum and Tsukiyama, this is another character that got the chance to mature. But unlike the other characters that do mature, we don't have a time skip where they just automatically come back as mature. We actually, I think Tatum is the only character where we see on screen his progression as a character and him maturing. At least in terms of recurring characters. Because everybody else, there's like a time skip and then all of a sudden, like, majority of them are mature or have changed in personality. But Tsukiyama is probably the only recurring character where you actually get to see that progression and that complexity in his character play out. And I actually really appreciate it, because the last time we got any kind of arc about Tsukiyama was nuts. Like... because that was the gourmet arc when we're basically introduced to him, and he's being nuts.
In the words of Chris from Yuri on Ice, I think I'm going to come.
Basically, huffing that napkin all day long. No. Fortissimo!
El Dorado!
Fortissimo! No, but, I really appreciate that the show did adapt the Rosenwald incident and, the progression of Yama as a character, and seeing Tatum grow with the character as we watch it. Obviously, I think it shows. It highlights Tatum's strengths as an actor, where he's able to adapt and grow with the character. Any character really that he's thrown in, like, given. I mean, if we're talking in another example, if we want to talk about Okabe in Steins Gate Zero, because that's completely different compared to the first season, obviously. So it definitely
not a fun season for J. Michael Tatum.
I'll say the progression of Tsukiyama that we see on screen is definitely a testament to the strengths of Tatum as an actor and seeing that progression in the character. But I enjoyed all of them very much. Yes.
Alright, Julie Shields' Matsumai was a really nice touch. I liked that she was softer as a character and did not go as hammy and over the top as Kanae and Tsukiyama's voice. It was a very nice contrast to both of them, and I think that Julie Shields is setting herself up as an actress that will make her way into more simuldubs. Madeline Morris as Chie, I was super looking forward to Ri, because Chie is a character in this franchise, and she is such an interesting character in that she is one of the few humans in the show who doesn't really have any affiliation to either side. She's just kind of like running around taking pictures. And I am not as familiar with Garo, so I do apologize. I actually never got to watch Vanishing Line. I just got really caught up in life stuff.
It happens.
So I thought Madeline Morris was fantastic, and I liked that she didn't play her with, like, a child's voice. Mm-hmm. She played her with a youthful voice, but she never made Chie sound like a child.
Yeah.
I'll want to save Kanae for last. J. Michael Tatum as Tsukiyama he's probably the only person who could have ever played Tsukiyama in the first series. And as much as I really enjoyed that performance, as somebody who reads the manga, Tsukiyama was a joke character at times in the original series. Mm-hmm. You never got, like legitimately, he was, the second arc, actually, in the manga. They actually defeat, Koreo Mado before they take care of him, and
right.
His introduction is genuinely creepy. Like, he eats an actress's eyes.
Ew. Because
they are beautiful, and he's very clever and conniving, and you get to see that kind of in the way that he keeps approaching Hayase as if he is Hayase's friend, and tries to use what he knows about Kaneki
right.
To get his friend back. And then what really hits me is when he wakes up with Matsumai in the car. And
yes.
he has this moment of revelation where he realizes now that he must bear the burden of the Tsukiyama family on him. And he's like, is this what Kaneki felt when he rushed off to save Anteku? And am I going to lose all of these people who are important to me again? Showing that even he was affected by the destruction of Anteku and the loss of Koma, Irumi, and Yoshimura. And remember, the last time you see Tsukiyama in Route A, for anime-only viewers, he is sobbing himself relentlessly on a roof with Nishiki.
Yep.
Regretting he did not stop Kaneki from apparently going to his own death. And I think Tatum gets to put his fangs into this so much more. And it's something I really appreciate about not only his ability as an actor, but that the show itself really turned Tsukiyama around. And I really hope for people who never enjoyed the character in the first series that this arc really changes them around. And then there is Kanae, and that character, I want to read a tweet from Jeannie Torado herself. And it's, somebody had thanked them about this, and it says, "Thank you. Kanae pushed me as an actor in ways I've never tried before, and I'm forever grateful to have voiced such a strong, tragic, and complex character, and those torture scenes. Dream role, to be honest." Because Kanae does have these very, very creepy, like, Salvador Dali-esque torture scenes with Edo.
Oh, God!
Where Edo is putting her bones of her own Kagune into to this person and making her, making them a living puppet. By the way, if you want to catch what Edo is actually doing to Kanae, you know the thing that kind of causes Shirazu to eat it? The Noro?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kanae's whole head comes off at one point and just reattaches.
Yeah, that makes sense there.
And Kanae is such a complex character for such a short amount of screen time and appearance time in the show. In that Kanae is manic and crazy. Like, there's a part where Kanae runs and beats their head against a tree.
Yep. After running into it first for no fucking reason.
No reason. And punishing themselves. And then you get the stuff where Kanae does play a little bit more as with a feminine male voice. And I like that it walks that line. If you've watched the show, you'll know exactly what we're getting at. But for reasons why we're just using they as a pronoun to be more fair to people who, and we don't want to cause a fight. This was our mutual middle ground, if you don't remember. Kanae is such an interesting character, and I do need to agree with Hardy on the accent bit. I don't speak German, and there are times where I feel like that Kanae gets a little too cartoonish German. It is a fine line that you do need to walk when you do accents, because I remember, even though I think all of us particularly like the accent in Yuri on Ice, that is something that people did have some criticisms for, and if you're not doing it properly, it does come off as a joke and not something serious. And for Kanae's character, yes, Kanae has very hammy over-the-top moments, like being Sailor Kanae, Tuxedo Kanae, and ramming their head into a tree. But you also get Kanae's death scene.
Yes.
And you have to play the accent, and Genie does it very, very fantastically. Where if you go a little bit too much ham, it's gonna become a cartoon joke. And I'm very happy that when it needed to be kind of jokey and cartoony, it went there. And cartoony is a bad word to use, but I can't think of anything else. But when it needed to be, like, completely straight, it did it. And that's what I enjoyed about Genie's performance. So are we ready to move on?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Alright, awesome. This section should also be fairly quick because it's our last section before we start kind of getting into the 5 main characters of the show. These are also 2 returning characters, Akira Mato and Arima Kisho. Essentially, Hayase's mom and dad.
Pretty much,
Best way to put it, yes.
But it. Akira Mato is a investigator that was once paired with Kotaro Amon, but after his apparent death, she is now essentially kind of the guardian of the Q Squad. And, oh god, this is so hard to talk about. Kisho Arima is essentially the White Reaper of the CCG. He is essentially the OP, never loses a fight. Like, you find him, you fucked.
Yeah.
Basically.
His Quinn K is a railgun. I'm not kidding you, it's a giant electric cannon. And it's badass as fuck. I am gonna spend a little bit of time on this, so I do apologize to anybody who's listening to this. This episode is already gonna be pretty long as it is, and I do need to explain this to fully help people who have never read the manga grasp this, because they do retcon Route A regarding this character. Kisho Arima is the reason why Hayase Kaneki does not die at the very end of Ghoul. In Ghoul, during the final battle, Kaneki becomes injured and wanders into a sewer. It is in that sewer that he meets Hide. Hide reveals that he has known Kaneki was a ghoul the whole time. Kaneki then blacks out and wakes up in an underground field of flowers. Hide is nowhere to be seen, and there's the taste of blood in Kaneki's mouth. Kaneki goes up against Arima and loses. To this point, this has never been seen in the anime fully animated. A big thing that Arima does is he stabs Kaneki through the head. You do not know at the time, everybody at that point in time believed Kaneki to be dead. Until, obviously, the reveal in Rude that Hayase came back, and that Arima was training him and has essentially taken him as his protege. I did want to take the time to explain this. I may have not done it as much justice as you can do by you yourself picking up the Viz release and reading the manga, or going to a site and getting a summary of it, but that is about the layman's terms that I want to get out for why Arima is a key figure in this part of the franchise. That being said, Akira Mato reprising her is Morgan Garrett. Arima, however, is not being reprised by his actor, even though it had to. They had very, very minimal speaking lines. In the original, both Route A and the original anime season, Arima was played by Alex Organ. Stepping into his shoes is his essentially default vocal replacement at this point, and good friend of the podcast, Christopher Waycamp. Morgan Garrett you will know as characters such as Meg Kautaka in Assassination Classroom, Sophie in Gosek, and Riko Brenska in Attack on Titan. Christopher Waycamp you will know as Susumu Kodai in Star Blazer, Space Battleship Yamato 2199, the Master in Kakaryo, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits, and he also still plays him in Re. Chris Waycamp was also Tatara, the tall white-haired member with the red mask in Aogiri Tree.
So he's pulling in double duty now.
He has double duty, yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Also, I am very, very sorry for the change in tone of my voice. I'm not gonna lie. The chapters in which Kaneki and Arima fight are absolutely stunning.
They really are, yeah.
They are. It is a fucking crying shame that they have never animated that fight.
Thanks, Perot.
Thank you. Yeah, fuck you, Perez. Like, legitimately, fuck you guys. Hardy, go first. I know this section's probably going to be quicker than most before we spend a lot of time on the next 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Gonna be really quick. These two characters don't do all that much of talking, honestly. Akira does a bit more, but it's pretty much just carried over from the previous 2 seasons, or the previous second season, because she doesn't really appear in Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, Tokyo.
Yeah, she shows up for like 1 scene, and then she's more of a character in
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I mean, yeah, Morgan Garrett does good, so good on her. And Arima, even with his new replacement, still doesn't talk much. I think he does more talking in Re than he did in either of the previous seasons combined. So
Accurate.
So Alex Organ's departure isn't completely missed because he didn't really do all that much, to be honest. And Chris does an adequate job. It's not really the most exciting character because he's very stoic and very just straight-faced, which is pretty easy to pull off. So both characters are okay. They're good performances for what they are.
I'm not gonna lie, I was holding out hope. Because I made predictions for Anima originally. I was holding out hope that Alex Organ would magically appear, but it was a long shot. Because schedules are a thing. But anyway, in terms of Chris's portrayal of Anima, because honestly, I can't really say it's a portrayal. I should say Chris as Anima. Because like Hardy said, Alex didn't get to really do or say much with the character in the first 2 seasons. Both Chris and Morgan, they have to have like a guiding parental figure, kind of guiding hand, specifically for Heisei. In Chris's case, his is very calming and as a guiding parental figure, who is both a parental figure and a mentor for Heisei. And seeing that played out is very interesting because seeing Anima played out or fleshed out a bit more period is very interesting considering we don't get much of the first 2 seasons. As for Morgan Garrett as Akira, I actually kind of have to disagree that it's the same thing as the first 2 seasons. I think Morgan Garrett, after rewatching the entire franchise, specifically Rude, Morgan Garrett kind of got to relax a bit more as Akira. Because Akira was a bit more uptight in Rude. More uptight.
Stick up her butt.
Exactly. More uptight, kind of a stick up her ass kind of thing. Very, very specific to like procedures and methods. But it's a waste of like precious seconds by like saying how are you, what is going on, saying what up, like that whole thing. Not specifically those words, but you get what I'm saying. So I think that Morgan got to kind of relax a bit more, kind of got to open up a bit more, specifically to Heisei, compared to the previous seasons. And you also can tell that Amon's death, or I should say supposed death, does have an effect on her, because it's pretty much implied that she does have a thing for him from the first 2 seasons. And I think because of that, that's kind of made her relax a bit more, loosen up a little bit more, and she's letting her walls down. But she does go back on her guard at different points, specifically that scene where she's talking to Heisei in the records room, where he's doing research and he comes across Amon's name among some of the records. That scene, I think, was very, very good between both Heisei as well as Morgan as Akira. But both these performances are a lot of fun. I'm just finally glad we got to see more of Anima in the show.
Let's if you've never met me before, by the way, I have the hugest crush on Akira Mato, by the way. Like, I love Akira Mato so much. She is my waifu. Like, she is my wife in my heart.
You say this all the time.
Morgan Garrett was such... God, this is probably why Morgan Garrett probably also became one of my favorite actresses, too. I love, between, actually, and I put it on here for a reason, between, Riko and Akira, I love that, and I'm very happy you brought up the record scene, because just when she has to console him, Hayase, and I wish that they never cut some of this stuff out of the manga, and I keep bringing it up, she's kind of being told to, like, kind of manipulate him.
Right, I forgot about that.
So that he stays under control, and she's like, it's like, act like his mom, Akira. And you can kind of tell that she is, but at the same time, she hates it, because she genuinely does care about Heisei and the Qs. And when she's like, you need to stop looking into that to protect him, but also to kind of keep him under control. It broke my heart, and I loved it. And Morgan just keeps on keeping on, and I love when she gets to play characters like Akira who are mature, but and I'll say it, Akira Amato is an attractively designed character, but I like that she isn't like forced to playing this, like, Morgan Garrett kind of gets put into roles where she's like super sexualized a lot.
A lot of sex bot characters.
Yes, and I'm very happy that this is one of the characters that is very beautiful and very, very mature, but she's not a sex bot. Also be shout out to the scene in Rude A where she gets drunk off her ass. And I can't wait for her to talk about her cat Stella, her giant fat cat later in the series. Chris's Arima, I liked it a lot. I actually kind of liked it a little bit more than I liked Alex Organ as Arima, but I prefer Chris Wakamp as an actor.
And I mean, to be fair, again, Chris got to do more than Alex.
More than that. To which, by the way, dude, I am so excited for the next arc, because guess what, buddy? It's your time. And that's all I really get to say, because I can't really say much more about Arima, because Arima doesn't talk a lot. Though I do like the scenes, I like the fact that they apparently fight on his office table in his room, in his office at work.
That was awesome.
Oh, that'd be... So is it true that you really killed a ghoul with an umbrella? Yes, it was a very durable umbrella.
Is it also true that you were fighting in your sleep once?
Fighting in your sleep? Well, maybe. I love Papa Arima. Papa Arima's great. By the way, he really did kill a ghoul with an umbrella.
That's great.
Nice.
Tokyo Ghoul Jack, bring it to the States. That's the Arima OVA.
Nice.
So, we're gonna move on to our first set of cues. And,
I'm gonna go cry now.
You okay? Okay. So, they are Psycho Yonebayashi, a fat little
basically.
A fat little gremlin who is only here because her mom sold her for money.
Oh, wow.
Yep, legit.
By the way, she's the oldest.
I'm about to say,
Really?
I think she's like in her 20s.
She's 20. No, she turns 20 in the manga. The rest of them are 19, actually. As of the start of the manga, because the manga does progress in time. And then there is... I have to get his full name, because I only wrote everybody's first name down.
It's, hold on.
I've got it right here.
It's
Calm
Ginshi.
down. Ginshi Shirazu, a rank 3 investigator who became a one of the Qs to pay for his sister's operation. His sister, essentially, by the way, they don't ever actually explain what the fuck is wrong with his sister.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
What it is actually she has RC cells growing out of her face. So essentially, coming from that little mole on her is a giant cognitive.
Oh, wow. Is she a ghoul?
No.
No,
she's human.
It's a disorder.
Oh, wow.
So he essentially fights to get enough money to pay for her medical care. He kills the Nutcracker, goes through some PTSD about killing her, and unfortunately dies at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
I saw this for the first time today.
She's so mad at me about this.
Sad. I cried. I was like, no.
Yeah, like he honest to God goes out like a fucking
He
badass.
goes out like a champ, but still, no.
And it is actually fucking heartbreaking, and then you get Kaneki's reaction to it, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? And then they steal his body.
Yep.
That also happens.
Then now Gary steals his body. So, playing Psycho Yonebayashi is Sarah Wiedenheft, who I think everybody and their mom predicted as Psycho from the second you saw her character design. I literally, ever since I knew who Sarah Wiedenheft was, I've had her as Psycho in my head. And playing Ginshi Shirazu is one Damon Mills. Sarah and Wiederhef you will know as Sana in Alice in Zoroku, Kihara in Sugumomo, and Kyoko Kushida in Classroom of the Elite. Damon Mills you will know as Kiba Shota in All Out, Sugoshi Sumino, the rat from Juni Tyson Zodiac War, and Honbami Toshiro in Tokenranbu Hanamaru, who is one of my favorites. Let's talk about Buzzcut Numaru.
First of all, Psycho, I think you kind of have a sort of a interviews with Monster Girls situation going on here with this character, in that I don't think Sarah Wiedenhef plays Psycho so much as she pretty much is Psycho.
Psycho.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
By the way, like,
Yes.
I think, like,
Yeah.
I want to find her from her introduction in the manga, because I don't think they could put it in this, Okay, yeah, she really does have the Umaru poster in the
Nice.
room.
Yeah. Because
But I think she's, like, playing, like, Final Fantasy on her Vita, or some shit, when they first, like, go together.
neat. No, I mean, yeah, it's like one for one to real life. Because Sarah Wiedenhef is a very, very small little girl with a little trollish attitude, sort of like Psycho is. So, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect casting, in my opinion. And now we get to quite possibly my hot take for this episode.
Oh, God. Oh, boy. Here
Oh,
we
Yeah.
go.
You have no doubts that I have appreciated Damon Will's work in the past. I think he is a voice acting wizard, capable of producing voices that I did not think were humanly possible, coming from someone like that. That having been said, I think his voice as Shirazu sounds very forced. Especially in the first 11 or so episodes. It does not sound like a natural voice to me. It sounds like a dude making a really gruff voice. That having been said, episode 12 really improved, especially in his, I am a man moment near the end, and in his dying words where he's, laying there and just passing away. That definitely was a definite improvement. But I you're gonna hate me for saying this. I think this is probably one of Damon Mill's weaker performances in his overall career.
Really?
I'm gonna say it.
Holy shit.
With the
Strong
exception of
words.
episode 12. Yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, it doesn't sound really like a natural voice. It sounds like a dude making a voice. And so, hate me if you must, but that's what I think. I'm still a really big fan. I don't really think that this is one of his better ones.
Well,
Now
damn,
that
okay.
Steph is sharpening the knife over there.
No, I'm
No, we're talking about Mutsuki after
okay.
this.
No, we're talking about Urie after this. You forget that I like Urie as a character, even though he's an
Oh
asshole.
no, get the kiddie pool ready.
God damn it, no, not again.
Alright, Hardy, I'll get the backhoe so we can start digging Stephanie's pool.
Fucking hate you. Oh god. God, who should I start first? Who should I start with first? I'll start with the gremlin child first, because Psycho is a goddamn gremlin child. She's a nerdy little gremlin child, and especially she kind of breaks up the monotony of all of this serious, dramatic, like dark goings-ons in this group, despite herself having actually a bit of a story to her that we don't see in the anime. I mean, who else would you get to play a gremlin child in this side of Texas? Like,
Emily Neves.
Yeah.
I said on this side of Texas.
Emily Neves!
Alright, you got me on that one. I forgot that she's she's Nutcracker, duh. No, but I enjoyed Sarah's as Psycho. She's a fun little gremlin child, and I feel like Psycho is fully aware of her weaknesses, because it's made very, very clear she's not the best fighter in the world. or the greatest or the strongest fighter in the world. She has a lot of. It is fully stated though that she does have a lot of latent potential among the 4 Qs though.
Yeah, I think it's proven that her power is the strongest.
Oh yeah, no, her Kagune will like rip up a fucking room.
Yeah, Psycho's a little gremlin nerdy child, but she's fully aware of herself and what she's capable of, or in this case, not capable of, because she's not the strongest or the best fighter among the Qs, and it's made very, very clear. So having those sets of weaknesses to kind of work off of, I think Sarah portrays that very well. As for Damon as Shirazu, I actually enjoyed it a little bit. I did not know that was Damon at first until I looked at the credits, and then I listened to it and I'm like, oh wait, this is a gruffer Jugo from Danbaka, like hands down. And
oh no,
I think it's a lot of fun. It's aside from Yuri on Ice, this is the lowest register I've seen him go in a while, I think. Shirazu, despite being the stereotypical, if we had to give him a stereotype, he's the tough guy stereotype, I guess you could say. Despite that, Shirazu is also very, very naive and can be easily manipulated, as evidenced by the countless times Urie fucking manipulates him to do shit. And I think it's a very interesting performance. Shirazu among the Qs is probably not the strongest performance. I am gonna say that. I still think it's a fun performance, and then I lost my garbage during episode 12. I lost my absolute garbage. I saw him with the wound, and then I was screaming at the TV, and then I was sobbing, and I was starting to tear up. And then when Urie starts crying, I was done. I was like,
when the jackass starts crying.
When the asshole who does not give a shit about anyone else starts crying and actually gives a damn, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like when Grumpy starts crying, it's Snow White.
Yep, it's there, and then you're like...
Except for Grumpy has his head lodged up his own ass. Urie X promotion, my OTP.
Yes, basically. But, like, among the Qs, I think these 2 characters and performances are not the strongest out of them. However, they are a lot of fun, and I do like them as new performances and these characters. And god damn it, I'm so sad about Shirazu. Ah!
Anyway, while Steph goes and cries, I will try to make this as quick as possible. Also, I've just learned that Fire Emblem Heroes is making another fucking Takumi, so there goes my money. Anyway, Saiko Yodobayashi, like I said, I have had Sarah Wiedenheft pegged to play this character since day 1 of her creation, in the chances that this ever got an anime. She is absolutely perfect. This isn't acting, this is just Sarah Wiedenheft. Well, it is acting because there's parts where like she has to cry and yada yada yada, if you know what I mean. But it's a very thin line between Sarah and Psycho. With Urie, with Shirazu, Shirazu isn't my least favorite of the Q's performances. Steph's gonna sharpen her knives at me. Actually.
Am I?
I actually really, yes.
Oh god damn it!
I actually really like it. I think that his talk with when he's talking about how he can't use Nutcracker really got me. I thought it was fabulous. And
oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. Like, I think Shirazu is really the only character where you see kind of like the PTSD side of killing a ghoul.
Right, of killing people, because he's not like Urie, who's everybody in his family, like his dad was an agent and all that bullshit, but anyway, we'll get there. I thought Damon played him great. It wasn't who I was expecting. I actually thought it was Jason Lebrecht was going to be this character of all people.
Me too. No, I thought Jason was going to be Urie. My bad.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be Jason Lebrecht's character, but no, Damon did him great, and it once again proves that Damon Mills does a lot of fabulous acting in ways that I never expected him to, so good on him. So with that being said, we are going to move on to our next set of characters, who are the other two Qs. They are Kukai Urie, a rank 2 investigator, who was the Quinx squad leader until his assholeness got him knocked down, and Shirazu became the leader. And Toru Mutsuki, a investigator, is kind of shy and very quiet. Oh god, time to phrase this with tact. Yes, the anime never brings it up, but the manga does. Mutsuki is transgender. As of the point of this recording, the English dub uses the he pronoun from episode 1 to episode 12. The Viz manga translation does use he as well. I'm going to read his actual official character bio from the second volume of the manga. Toru Mutsuki, rank 3 investigator. His parents were killed by a ghoul, and he decided to become a ghoul investigator. Assigned female at birth, he decided to transition after undergoing the Quinx process. So, that being said, Urie is played by Adam Gibbs. Mutsuki is played by Michaela Krantz. Adam Gibbs is going to be playing Masaya Hinata, upcoming in Alcana, 4 Rhythms Across the Blue, Hotaro Oreki in Hyoka, and Garak in Black Clover. Also be, if you've watched the Devil's Line episode, Lilac would kill me if I didn't mention this, Urie looks exactly like Anzai from Devil's Line, who Adam Gibbs also plays.
Huzzah!
Michaela Krantz, you will know as characters such as Kero in Cardcaptor Sakura the Clear Card arc, Kurtz in Interview with Monster Girls, and Ryu in Snow White with the Red Hair.
This is going to take me a while. Urie is a butthole.
I won't argue there.
Yeah. But, that having been said, Adam Gibbs plays him very well. Especially, I think the performances in episode 12 are some of the best performances in the entire show. To the point to where characters or actors who I wasn't entirely impressed with up to that point all had the moment to shine. And when Urie finally has his moment where he breaks down and he's like emotionally distraught, that's when I think he has the best performances from Adam Gibbs. And Mutsuki is a very, very, very complicated performance. Because just like the character itself is very, very complicated. And I think that Michaela Krantz is able to go in there and understand that character and really put forth a very good performance, a very good effort, and that really, really balances out all the nuances and it is feminine when it needs to be. It is also masculine when it needs to be. It strikes a very, very delicate balance. So, yeah, I think both of the actors did very well.
Okay, I'm actually going to start with Mitsuki as well. Because, yeah, if there's any character, I think probably to an extent outside of Kaneki who is full of complexity, it's Mutsuki. Mutsuki, I think, has the most, one of, if not the most complex stories and character arcs that he has to go through. And Michaela I'm just floored with it. It's because Mutsuki, like Megan was saying, is transgender, but he is also, from what I gather and what is going on with the story, Mutsuki is still in transition mode. He's still transitioning. Mm-hmm. So, with Michaela's performance, you can tell that there is enough femininity in the voice. You can tell that Mutsuki is clearly a boy, but there's enough femininity in Michaela's performance and in her voice that gives it that hint, that just little touch that it needs, the kind of show that Mutsuki is more than what he appears to be. And especially during the auction arc where Mutsuki does have to go undercover as a girl. That's also a great story too, and a bit more complexity added to Mutsuki as a character, especially with all these eyes watching him. That scene in the club when they were undercover and trying to get the Nutcracker's attention, he's just freaking out because of all these people staring at him, and he just doesn't want them to find out he's actually a girl. And
well, they're not actually a girl, they're a guy.
Well,
I get
biologically female.
Biologically female. There we go. It's I feel like it's Mutsuki's story, and in terms of his gender and his transition. Personally, obviously, I haven't experienced this at all. But I feel like Mutsuki, to an extent, and it's not a general representation of the transgender community, but you can see hints of, at least I think, hints of what the community can go through at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in that sense, because of the complexity of the character, I think Michaela portrays that very, very well. There's a reason why I asked Megan, I told Megan I would be very, very disappointed if she didn't bring up Onside from Devil's Line when talking about Adam Gibbs. So if you watched the Devil's Line episode, you will remember the comments I made about Adam's performance of Onside. For those who did not watch the episode or need a recap, basically, because in the same season, Urie and Onside are the exact same character, and these two characters are essentially what Adam Gibbs is mostly known for. That tone of voice, the kind of the stoic character, that very intelligent character. However, there's clear differences between these two characters and two different challenges that Adam has to go through with each of them. And both of them have to do with how they are switched. They each have a little switch that needs to be flipped, and each one is different. To recap, with Onside in Devil's Line, in that case, the switch is a primal instinct for him, because if you're not familiar with the show, Onside is a devil, aka a vampire, who doesn't really want to be
it's time to bone!
Basically. So the switch that Adam had to portray on that one, and the challenge for him, is that switch to a more primal instinct. Now, Urie, on the other hand. Urie, and the conversation I didn't get to have during Devil's Line, I'm going to bring up here. Urie's switch comes in episode 6, the halfway point, where he and Mutsuki and Juzo are facing Big Madam during the auction. And Urie, after being stuffed in Big Madam's mouth, proceeds to kick...
And just hanging out of it.
Proceeds to kick her, flies out of it. And then that's when that switch has to be flipped to and I'm going to quote a tweet I actually tweeted after watching this, and I tagged Adam Gibbs in this. He had to go into become a maddening, crazy, desperate, selfish person. That's the switch that Adam has to portray, and that's what makes this character very different than Onside in the same season, when typically these characters you see him as the same goddamn thing. And because once that switch is flipped, oh my god, it's not a psychotic breakdown, but he's so desperate, because the big thing with him is he wants to be promoted and get himself in a good position as a kind of revenge to the CCG for not defending his father and keeping him alive. And specifically, he takes it out on the Kuroiwas, which is very interesting in of itself.
Fuck you, Alejandro!
Basically! So...
Please do not fuck Alejandro Saab, he's a good boy.
But, seeing that switch get flipped, and then the immediate result after that, I just felt that. Urie is a bit of a dickbag. Not gonna lie, Urie is a bit of a dickbag. But once Adam flipped the switch for Urie and just went god all desperate, it's all about me. Like, give me my promotion, like, going nutty. Like, and the frames and the Kagane are basically, like, taking over, and he's losing a bit of control and losing a bit of himself. Like, I was very captivated with it. I could not stop staring. My jaw was hitting the floor. And then, kind of to bring in Michaela on this one, too, what proceeded after that, where he's just kind of defeated, in a sense. This is the first time you actually see Urie crying. And he's kind of curled up in a ball, and he doesn't want to, like, show his face.
Don't touch me, don't touch me, I'm a bitch, baby.
Don't touch me. Like, I hate you all. And then stabs Mutsuki.
Fucking hate all of you bastards.
Stabs Mutsuki. And then this is actually the first time in the series that Mutsuki was able to produce his Kagune. Because he couldn't before.
Give him a hug.
And he just gives him a little Kagune hug, and it's adorable.
Hug. And then,
he's just comforting
Urie finds out about
figures
the
it out.
thing.
Urie figures out
How-
Mutsuki.
It's the first time they acknowledge it. It's like, you son of a bitches!
Yeah, that's actually the first time in the anime where they actually acknowledge that Mutsuki is transgender. Like, is Urie's reaction. I'm like, what the fuck?
Urie's like, wait a minute.
But outside of that switch, in terms of Urie as a character, Urie, aside from the switch, and aside from being a dickbag for the majority of the fucking show, I think one of my other favorite things about Adam's performance as Urie is some of the internal monologue comments he has in his brain.
Sassy inner Adam.
Snappy.
Sassy inner Urie.
Adam is great. I loved it.
It's like the inner Sakura, but he's sassy.
Pretty much. But, yeah,
sassy straight boy.
The two big things, the two big high points, I think, for Adam's performance of Urie is definitely when he had to flip that switch in episode 6, and then at the end. And then at the end, as he's like...
Stephanie's crying.
Yes. Because again, the second Urie started crying, I was done. Because, like, he didn't give a shit about any of his other squad mates.
And then he's like, don't you fucking die on me!
What about your sister, Shizuru? What about your sister? And I was just done. And then... God. What I'm really going to be curious about is how his relationship to, Kaneki is going to play out.
Urie is the best character in the franchise. I will not disagree with this. Like Urie is actually one of the best developed characters in the series. I'm not gonna lie. I like him. I like him by the end of the series.
I love Urie as a character, despite him being a dick in the beginning, and definitely part of why I like him as a character so much is because of Adam Gibbs. I just love the performance, and I am so excited especially now considering what has happened at the end of this season. I really want to know how this is going to affect Urie and how he's going to change in terms of character. So I'm very curious, and this is probably I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of my favorite performances of the show for obvious fucking reasons. But yeah, I talked on long enough. I'm done.
I was like, damn, I thought I was the Tokyo Ghoul fangirl in this podcast.
Sorry, I had to continue my conversation that I brought up in Devil's Line.
Dig a hole, dig a hole, dig a hole.
It was relevant.
Dig a hole,
this is fucking relevant. This is my life. Fuck you.
I know, okay. I'm gonna try to be as quick as I humanly can, because I'm gonna probably spend a lot of time talking in the next section. Michaela Krantz does a really good job of playing Mutsuki. It is incredibly hard to come in and play a character who is transgender. Obviously, there are a lot of different opinions on this character, even from trans people, and how, I don't want to put any words into the community's mouth. I think that the performance just in itself of Michaela playing a young man who is insecure and trying to find his place on a squad when he is clearly the weakest link outside of a girl who does not want to be there. I do wish that they would have kept some stuff from the manga in there, but what they did with Mutsuki was still really convincing, and I think Michaela got through it very beautifully without being, without going too far in either direction, and I really do want to commend the writing and directing team for their handling of Mutsuki as a character up to this point. They have done a really good job. Adam Gibbs as Urie is actually my least favorite of the Qs.
Stephanie's gonna go get her knife.
I'm gonna pull a Juzo on you right now.
I do like the performance, I really do. But there are just some times where I don't know if it's the writing or if it's just that Urie is kind of such an asshole at the beginning of the show.
It's probably mostly that.
That sometimes it's like, wow, I am not endeared to this performance at all, and it is a little alienating, but I think that's just Urie's character. I just don't prefer him as a character at this point in time in the series. Like I said, though, Urie becomes one of my favorite characters, though. So I'm really excited to see where Adam Gibbs goes with this, and I can't say any more than Steph already has about Urie.
I said too much.
She said a lot for me. So that being said, let's move on to our final group before the last things. We're going to talk about Kaneki Ken and Hayase Sasaki. Hayase Sasaki is a fucking moron.
But he's a
Hayase
sweet
Sasaki
moron.
He's adorable.
He's a sweet
He's
moron.
A good bean.
Hayase Sasaki is a wonderful, adorable goober of a mom. He is the Q's mom-chan, a dedicated director who is very, very smart. He can be very smart as he is dumb. Doesn't actually try to kill his enemy. He tries to get them to surrender. And he's also very unsure of himself. Kaneki Ken is a disaster.
That's an understatement.
Kaneki Ken has seen some shit. He is the original. He is the protagonist of the story. He is also Hayase Sasaki with his memories, a tragic figure who has been tortured, maimed, nearly eaten multiple times, stabbed, kicked around, just abused by his mother.
I was surprised by
Kaneki
that.
Ken has. Oh yeah, I never
way.
told anybody about that. Kaneki Ken has been through some shit. He's also my number one husbando in my heart. I love him very, very much. He also, by the way, will look like an eternal 16-year-old for some dumb reason. Playing Kaneki Ken is Austin Tyndall. Playing Hayase Sasaki is Austin Tyndall.
But wait a minute.
And hey,
The
that
worst
is-
kept secret.
It's just, by the way, at this point in time, Stephanie, have you ever seen the picture of the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other?
I think I have.
Just pop that up on this. If you could pop that up on the screen with Austin Tyndall pointing at himself.
Oh my god.
And just for measure, just a little thing of Leah Clark on the side as young Kaneki, because we are going to talk about her as well. So, Austin Tyndall has played characters such as Gene Otis in Aka 13, Herlock Shlomes in Code Realize the Guardian of Rebirth, and Goro Shonen Dad Haircut Did Nothing Wrong in Darling in the Franxx. Austin Tyndall has played Joseph in Maria the Virgin Witch, Obi in Snow White with the red hair, and Karma Akabane in Assassination
This is
Classroom.
the joke we're going with right now?
Yup!
Yay!
Leah Clark has played Ikuno from Darling in the Franxx, Miss Kobayashi from Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and Kentaro from Barakamon. Yes, by the way, I've been sitting on the fact that I literally got 6 credits for Austin Tyndall so I can talk about him twice.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
Hardy, go ahead.
Well, what do you want me to start with first?
Austin Tyndall or Austin Tyndall?
Or Leah Clark.
Or
Yeah.
Leah Clark.
The flashback...
Austin Tyndall!
Yeah. Well, I mean, quickly with Leah Clark, let's get her out of the way. Her scenes were very few and far between, and so I really can't make too much of a comment on it. I honestly didn't know it was her. I figured it would be some other actress, but...
It sounded like Terry Doty to me, because I always get Terry and Leah mixed up, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
When they sound like when they played little boy characters.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was fine. Austin's performance as Heisei was very sweet, very genuine. He doesn't... You can definitely tell there's a difference between him and Babyface original Kaneki. Because Babyface Kaneki was just sort of like this little nerd. Yeah, and he was a baby and kind of a pusher.
He was 19!
What'd you say?
Kaneki's like 19!
I know. But, I mean, he is 19, but he looks like he's 12 at times. But, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god, like, if you're on my Discord. If you ever want to see what he looks like at the very end of the manga, you will be amazed that this man is in his 30s.
But, the difference between Heisei and Kaneki is that in this iteration, Heisei is just you can tell he's different from babyface Kaneki because he actually has drive. He's actually mature. He's a well-respectable young man. Black-haired Kaneki is an a-hole, and I kind of hate him.
Black Reaper Kaneki is kind of a douchebag.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you've rediscovered, you brought back your memories, you've rediscovered who you are. Why are you doing this to your friends like this? Honestly, why are you acting like such a butthole? Why? And his betrayal, especially of Tsukiyama near the end, that just seems extremely heartless. Like,
I don't know. I kind of, I feel like he purposefully let him go.
Well, maybe, but yeah, it's a commendable job to Austin Tindall for being able to play two completely different, but basically the same character. Being able to play basically the same character in two completely drastically different ways. And I thought it was really good. Because we've sort of watched his transition from babyface Kaneki to battle.
We've gone through 4 iterations of this man.
Yeah, babyface, then battle hardened, then genuine nice guy to complete douchebag. And we'll get to see him develop even further in the next season, which I'm looking forward to. So, I mean, I gave him the Best Actor award in the first ever Dubbies, and he certainly lived up to it. So that's what I have to say.
Oh boy, I'll start with Leah as well, because a lot of the stuff that Leah has to portray when it comes to little Kaneki here is obviously inside of Heisei's head, in his mind. Because Kaneki is just kind of this. Kaneki is. The little Kaneki here is supposed to be his innocence. Considering like he's all dressed in white, his hair is still white, and he's a child of all things. You can tell that this is supposed to be like symbolism for Kaneki's innocence. And he has a desire to not be forgotten. He doesn't want to be forgotten. He doesn't want to die. He's scared of dying. The most prevalent you see of that is also episode 6, where I also was like, holy shit, I'm just absolutely floored by this. I couldn't look away from that whole interaction that Heisei has with little Kaneki. I was just downright compelled, and I couldn't stop staring at the screen. And this kind of goes, I guess, segue into Austin Tindall. This is like, how many fucking personalities does Kaneki have at this goddamn point? Like 4 or 5? Because we have 4. Yeah, that sounds right. We have babyface Kaneki, we have white-haired Kaneki and Rude, we have Heisei, and now we're gonna have this fucking asshole. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this douchebag. But I guess we'll find out. Though, to be fair, that's one hell of a return of Kaneki. Like, yelling at Ito, shut the hell up. Like, that's one way to return, buddy. That's one way to wake up from a dream.
I thought he was gonna say fuck!
I know! I was expecting it too, and then it was a slight missed opportunity, but, whatever. Tindall, in and of himself, in this series alone, in this season alone, has to play, like, at least 3 different personalities. Because the obvious one is Heisei. The second one he has is when he wakes up and he's back to being Kaneki in episode 12. The third one is the white-haired Kaneki that's in his mind that isn't Babby Kaneki here. That isn't the Leah Clark one. And holy shit. If this isn't proof that Austin's range is scary, I don't know what is. Because it's like, I'm terrified that this man is gonna develop multiple personality disorder now. With the amount of
Oh, come on! He has it!
No.
Oh, you mean Austin?
I mean Austin, not Kaneki. I mean Austin, not Kaneki. Because Lord knows Like, this season alone, and the fact that he has to bounce around to these different personalities of Kaneki / Heisei is just downright insane, and I have to commend him for that. Like, I love Heisei. He's an adorable little dweeb. He's very mature. He's very much a guiding hand to the cues. He's also a dummy sometimes. As proven on several occasions.
So it's just ink. Oh, okay.
Sure.
Dumbass.
And God, what are some of my other notes here? Because I wrote quite a few for Austin, actually. Okay, in order of my notes, I'm gonna just go through it. So, the first one was Tyndall has to play so many sides in 3 seasons. Ree seems to have, and this is like the first note I wrote. It has both season 1 and season 2 Kaneki mixed in, but add on top of that Heisei has a bit more maturity to him. And then Austin had me compelled all during his narration with himself. Couldn't look away and just, I really felt it. That was during episode 6. Where else do I have anything for Austin? Oh god. My last note I wrote, my exact words are, Austin going back to Route A Kaneki was a bit of a trip, but he is done taking your shit. He is done dealing with your shit. I'm like, holy shit. If anything, Kaneki is the one character that has the biggest through line, of course. And obviously we all know that he has so much shit going on with him. And to see Austin portray all of this again, while having the character grow, I really have to commend Austin on this. It's absolutely phenomenal. Like, it's hard to really put it into words how much both this character, and I actually think Austin as an actor, have grown in the past few years with this show. So, kudos to Austin on this. I'm very excited to see where Kaneki's gonna go, but I'm also kind of iffy because this Kaneki sounds and looks like a douchebag, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about it.
The Black Reaper is the fucking worst Kaneki personality. There, I've said it. There's one part where they all are sitting in a room in his mind, and it's kind of fucking great.
Oh, great.
Like I said, that chapter is hysterical.
Oh, I can't wait to read it now.
So, God, I want to say a lot, but we're also running really long as an episode, and I do apologize for all the people who are watching.
I'll try and cut as much as I can.
Austin Tyndall is a fantastic actor, and I remember when the first season of Tokyo Ghoul came out, and it was revealed that he was going to play Kaneki. I remember how skeptical I was, because this wasn't a person I knew very well. Needless to say, he has floored me ever since, as specifically this character. Austin Tyndall is one of the only, I think, 3 people in the world who maybe understands Kaneki Ken, besides Suishida himself and Natsuki Hayane, who has played Kaneki throughout all of his iterations as well. I do want to commend Leah Clark as the younger Kaneki that kind of starts talking to him and asks him to save him. And especially the one in the last episode where they're talking and how he's like, I want to go out with a big bang before I go. And he's talking about, like, basically, Kaneki wants to suicide. Essentially. He wants to do something grandiose and then kill himself. And that's what that Black Reaper personality is. It's his desire to do something grandiose and then for his friends and then kill himself. And I like the beginnings that you see of that in him. And I don't even want to say it's his Route A personality. Because his Route A personality to me was essentially this is the way I've always explained this to people. The Route A Kaneki to me is the middle finger to every character of Sasuke and Ichigo out there. Where, especially Ichigo from Bleach to me. Where he's like, I'm gonna do all this stupid stuff and turn into a monster because I'm gonna martyr for my friends. And all of the friends in Bleach just accept it because, hey, Ichigo's really big and strong and we love him. And in Route A, in the manga, what you get is Toka smacking him in the face, saying, "Nobody fucking asked for this." And that's that personality to me. And Austin walks this beautiful fine line, as Hayase, of blissful ignorance and joy and absolute terror and not knowing what he is. And that scene in the archives where Akira hugs him and he's just sobbing and he's like, you don't know what it's like to wake up every day and not know who you are. And it's just, Austin Tyndall knows Kaneki as if he is him at times. And it's absolutely mystifying and terrifying to watch all at once. And he's one of the few actors, I would actually say, who's been an actor in a franchise that is long running, that I can honestly say that is his character. I don't even think I can say that about like Bryce's Eren in Attack on Titan, or Todd as Natsu. Like, I don't ever get that vibe from those performances, honestly. But I get that from Austin Tyndall, and it's just, I love this character so much. And the level of beauty and grace that he brings while doing some absolutely shattering performances and screaming and raw emotionality is just to be held. This is to date probably like if this is his legacy, not being like 7,000 Karma clones. When you associate an actor with a character, I'm always going to associate Austin with Kaneki. I know he is not Kaneki. Austin Tyndall is Austin Tyndall, and nothing's ever going to change that. But fuck, if he doesn't walk into that booth and just inhabit that booth as if it is Kaneki Ken's own head. And I am so excited to get to see him do some of the shit that comes on later in the manga. And with that being said, I guess, Hardy, if you want to give your final thoughts.
Well, I mean, I think I gave my final thoughts earlier when we were talking about the directors, is that it's a well-acted, well-directed, well-written addition to an already well-acted, well-written, and well-directed series. I think it just slides right into the rest of the Tokyo Ghoul pantheon and holds its own as another prime example. It is a very, very good dub.
I also kind of said this when we were talking about the directors and writers. To me, in terms of the dub, I think this is the strongest season yet. Despite season 1 having a good amount of emotional stuff going on with it too. But finally really getting to see a lot more complexity with a good amount of these characters, whether they are returning characters or new ones. It's very interesting to see that progression with both the story and the performances and everything like that. And I'm absolutely floored by how much this series is progressing and how it's, oh god, it's really hard to put into words. I think it's really, I love it a lot. I enjoy the direction, I enjoy the performances. It's probably one of my favorite dubs of the year so far. At least top 5 if anything, and I'm very, very excited to see where the second half goes when we get it in the fall. Except minus, I still don't know how to feel about Black Reaper Kaneki. He kind of comes off as a douche, so I don't know. Especially when he was suddenly a douche to Urie. And I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be very different. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to be as quick as I can, and then I'll just do the wrap-up stuff. Like I said, the first anime in this is my favorite anime of all time. This is my favorite manga of all time. It's one of my favorite cross-media platforms. It is a series that has left a profound impact on my life, not only in the sense that it has caused me to meet 13 of my best friends, but it's just a beautiful series about it talks a lot of things of life, death, love, compassion, humanity, and it's beautifully taken care of by Funimation to this day. I've never had a bad thing to say about this dub. This dub has some of, while I may feel mixed now about the anime's adaptation, I can say nothing bad really about the dub at all. It is beautiful and perfect in a year that is full of very, very stacked dubs. It does stand out, especially among the sequels.
Yes.
It feels like the team had never left it, even though it had been, God, what did Rude's dub come out in, like, what, 15?
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah, it's been about 3 years. And the fact that it felt like these people had never left the franchise is astounding to me. And obviously they're going to see it through to its conclusion in October. Starting in October, that should be done by January, by the new year, by basically 4 years from when the original dub of Rude came out. They will have seen the show through to its conclusion. And that is terrifying to realize, and also kind of beautiful and holistic. But that being said, I think we've said enough about this franchise and the show. There's
too much.
Yeah.
We're never talking about Tokyo Ghoul again. We're
Tokyo
done.
Ghoul again.
Yeah.
We're done. Unless someone wants to do the live action for Summer at the Movies, but other than that, we're fucking done. That being said, if you would like to watch Tokyo Ghoul Route A, and Tokyo Ghoul Re, you can watch the entire dub, and I believe the sub.
Yes, actually.
All on Funimation. This is not a show, even though with the Crunchyroll Funimation partnership, this is not a show, at least in the North American region, that you can watch on both services. I believe outside of the US, you can watch the sub on Crunchyroll. But if you're in North America, like a majority of us are for the podcast, you're watching this on Funimation or Hulu. If you want to pick up the DVDs, you can buy both Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Route A on Blu-ray DVD combo pack. I believe coming out sometime this year is the Tokyo Ghoul Re Classics Edition. Oh no, I'm sorry, Route A Classics Edition.
Yeah, what's weird is that Route A gets a Classics Edition, but Season 1 does not.
But not the original, but not Season 1. I have both of the nice hard box sets, and I really hope there's one for Re, so I can keep
I still haven't bought Route A.
Hey, you can get a nice cheaper version coming out later this year. Though, if you do buy Rude A, one of the things I do suggest for at least both seasons, watch all of the commentaries. They're fantastic. If you wish to read the manga for both Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re, as well as any of the light novels and any other products for the manga or manga light novel verse, you can pick them all up from Viz Media. The entirety of Tokyo Ghoul, its 14 volumes, are available now. Tokyo Ghoul Re, as of the time of this recording, I believe is up to volume 5 out of 16.
Yes.
I believe 16. I believe 16 is going to be the final volume.
At the time of recording this, volume 6 is currently up for pre-order, coming out in August.
That being said, if you want to follow Spaceman Hardy, you can follow him at Spaceman Hardy on the Twitters. He posts goat pics, food porn, Tifa Lockhart art. If you want to follow Stephanie, you can follow her at Lilac Anime Review. Reviews being spelled R-U-V-U-E because she's so creative. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Queen Era 2. You can also hang out with Hardy, myself, and Classy Spartan on the Funimation Discord and forums. If you want to follow the Dub Talk Podcast, you can follow us at Dub Talk Podcast on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Twitch TV, and YouTube. We also have a Ko-fi if you wish to donate to us to keep our RSS feed running once we get that up and going. But with that being said, we have been at this for a very long time, and I am so sorry.
I need to make some cuts. Shit.
Stephanie needs to go to bed. Hardy needs to go look at a picture of a goat, and I want to pee.
Alright, we're so done.
So, with that being said, I want to thank all of you for seriously listening to the entirety of the Tokyo Ghoul Re episode. I have, honest to God, been looking forward to doing this since the anime got announced, and I am forever grateful to everybody who has ever worked on this project. I know he will never find this, and if he does, God, I don't want to be crying in the middle of the night. Seriously, thank you, Sue Ishida, for creating this brilliant franchise 7 years ago. I know you just ended your manga this week. You have left a profound impact on my life, and I love you and your franchise, and no matter where your life takes you or where Ken's story goes, I will forever be happy to have read and watched the adventures of poor Kaneki Ken and his crazy-ass life. So, with that being said, good night, everybody, and otaku.
Good night, everybody.
Keep it manly.
そうしたりちょっと辛